You meant me as me.
We wanted them to check for VD.
For VD. Now we are coming back to Chicago in November. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois. Child, we done mended our situation with the city winery, honey, and they done called their good sisters back. That's right, honey. The Fags are coming back November the 24th, 2025.
Yeah, that's Thanksgiving week. You think I can get somebody in Chicago to bring me a little vegan something?
What's up, Chicago? That's right, the Fags are coming back. That's Monday, November 24th. That's Thanksgiving week. You know you ain't going to work no way. Come on out and chill with the Fags. Get your tickets, www.fagtalk.com.
That's November the 24th, 2025. Get your tickets, get your tickets, get your tickets. Don't meet us there, Chicago. Meet us there.
I sure hope somebody gonna bring me a...
We wanted them to check for VD.
For VD. And for you ain't I was in my phone. Take your ass down into that welfare. Use a dummy, bitch.
Calling all pin mob. Calling all pin mob. Honey, the Fags are going international. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. August 5th through the 9th, 2026, Fag Talk Live in Antigua will be going down, baby. Get your tickets at www.fagtalkinternational.com. I need y'all to know, honey, that this is one of those trips that you don't want to miss. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going on an all-inclusive resort and spa situation, bitch, at the Royalton, honey, down there in Antigua.
I'm not too sure where Antigua is, but the Pin Mob, we're going to Antigua. Make sure you have your passport, make sure it's up to date, and be sure to get the travel insurance just in case something happens, because life happens. The spots are moving quickly. Do not wait until the last minute. You have an entire year to pay this trip off, so do yourself a favor. Treat yourself to a good time and meet us in Antigua for Fag Talk Live.
And for my rich bitches, add on the rich bitch option to include a full day with us as we tour the island, and who knows what else we gonna get into. God damn it, don't meet me down there to the ticket place. Beat me at the ticket place. That's right, girl. Honey, meet us down there to www.fagtalkinternational.com, honey. Low deposit and payment plans are available.
Well, God damn it, I told y'all, honey, give me about an hour. I mean, I'm late, I'm colored. That tends to happen when you're late and you're colored. But as one, not the, but as one of the ambassadors of the TS community, God damn it, I just feel like that we are currently in a state of emergency. So what I did was I got in contact with as many of my girlfriends, as many of my dolls, sisters, nieces, cousins, aunts, bitch, kinfolk that I could, that have a very strong and powerful voice in our community. And you're probably going to sit there and you're probably going to watch us deliberate about what we saw with this trans woman and Tish, the fish. Oh, y'all about to be mad today. I'm reverting back to my old ways, bitch. I'm making you whole stomach hurt. With Tish the fish and goddamn I don't know the trans. I don't know her name. I don't know. But I don't know. I really want to talk about this tonight. I think that we're going to let you all be on the outside looking in as we trans women discuss and deliberate. I don't know if I may open up the floor for maybe one or two of y'all to come up here and have a discussion about it, but this is amongst the tea. This is the tea. The tea is under a state of attack. We've been under a state of attack. They've used the tea as a political ploy to do damage, mental damage to you all, and having you thinking that we're public enemy number one, having you thinking that we are the ones that are stripping the rights from females, from women, that we're trying to indoctrinate your children. So I just think that you guys need to sit back, get your cup of coffee, a cup of drink, or whatever it is that y'all want to do. This is the tea. This is the tea part of the conversation, okay? So y'all can deliberate, share, tell a friend. Y'all can argue. Share it to your Twitters, share it on your page, put your arguments in there, get down in there. But bitch, we about to chop it up. All right, Mo, load the panel up. First up, bring them one at a time. Load them up. Ladies, when you come on, introduce yourself.
What's going on, honey? It's none other than the one and only Puss, honey. Bree Star's in the building, bitch.
All right, that's Bree Star. Come on, Mo.
Hey, what's up? This is your girl Diamond. I am host of Marsha's Play podcast. Yeah, let's get this shit started.
All right.
Hey everybody, it is I Hope Giselle. Godsey now. I'm not sure if y'all can hear me, so that's why my introduction
we
is
can hear you. We can hear you. Hope.
Because I can't hear nobody else. That's what I'm. So Mo, I don't know. Do I need to leave and come back?
No. Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, because I can't hear anybody.
Okay.
Except you, Madison. I can hear you, Madison, but I can't hear Diamond or Bree.
Okay. Well, yeah, leave out and come back in.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Monroe. Are you naked?
No, I got on a dress. Sister, listen, you called me. I was getting ready for bed. I was.
Get up. We in a state of emergency. Get up. God damn it, get up.
Hey, everyone. It's me, Monroe Ali.
Hi, I'm Quay Tan. I'm a top. I love submissive men.
Period.
Mo, put me in the center.
Oh, what's the tea, y'all? It's your girl Day. I'm sorry, I'm a little disheveled right now. I just got home from work, but I'm ready to have this conversation.
Hey, Day.
Hey. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jerome Trammell. I'm trans. I'm non-binary. Pronouns are EM, she, her, them, they. Be respectful. But yeah.
Okay. Is that it? Oh, and there's Hope. Hope, can you hear us?
Yes.
Can you hear everybody else?
Yeah, I can hear everybody now.
Okay. All right. God damn it, we're here. All right. So I want to start out by saying, right? Fish starts in the face. Jerome, don't read me, but we old school. Fish starts in the face. I do believe that 99.9% of us trans women from a different time frame were taught by our gay mothers that we wanted to transition. When we wanted to transition, we were going over to the binary. The binary was, bitch, we was going to look like the fish. If you was going to give cunt, you got to look like cunt. You got to walk in the door as cunt, bitch. You got to serve up cunt. That does not mean that we were not going to get clocked, because no matter how real you are, you still can get clocked, or you still may get clocked. That's just what it is. But the original reason why we decided that we wanted to live the life of film is because we wanted to be film presenting and give the fish in the face. Now, granted, times have changed. I'm laying this all out right now. Granted, times have changed. I have learned things on my journey in front of everybody. I've learned everything on my journey, whatever I've learned about non-binary. I understand it now. Angelica sat down with me. I was like, okay, got it. This and the other. I still have little bits of reservations with whatever, but I understand it and I get it. Like, I know that non-binary can fall under the trans umbrella. I understand that. I know this now. I'm not ignorant anymore. I was dumb, but no, I was dumb. No, because we want to talk tonight about people being dumb and then being willfully dumb. There's dumb and learning, and then there's willfully being dumb. We also going to talk tonight about the difference between gender identity, sexual orientation, sex, all that. We're gonna lay this shit out. Attraction, all that. We're gonna talk about men being attracted to the girls. All the things that the girls are windmilling about. We're gonna talk about that tonight. But first up in the conversation, Mo, can you play the clip from TMZ? Let's go.
Go Jim! Men! Grown with big dick in the women's locker room. And that's why I'm getting kicked out. And I want to make sure the girls know.
I was naked. I was drying up and oiling up. I turned around and there's a man in the locker room. And so, of course, I'm shocked. I'm like, I thought maybe I missed the sign and that there were workers working. So I just said, sir. I didn't even get to say a sentence or anything. I just was in shock and figuring out that there's a man behind me while I'm naked. And I say, sir. And then he goes, you can't tell me nothing. B word, I'm a woman. And I'm like, what? Now, listen, guys, I don't have anything against anyone. So I was just in shock. I've never been presented with this in my whole entire life. So I'm just in shock and I start screaming and asking for help. The people come into the locker rooms and they kind of escort him out, but not out of the gym, just out of the locker room so I could get dressed. And then I made a report and nothing was followed up on.
I'm just wondering if you see her perspective. She's saying that she's looking at you, say, in a towel, and you still have male genitalia, and, you may be transitioning, but could you understand her being uncomfortable?
Well, I certainly do not understand it, but I do get the notion of the fear-mongering that she's perpetuating. The truth in the moment is far from what she is purporting it to be. Literally every time that she's done that, I've had women in the locker room comforting me because of how aggressive she was towards me.
Maddie, go ahead and clock out here.
A mess. That looks like Monica Beverly Hill's ex-boyfriend who was transitioning.
Both of y'all clock out.
They both look like niggas.
Yeah.
I mean, women, females can be clocky too.
I mean, it was some masonry going on at that
time. Females can be clocky too.
It was giving Buff Chris Rock.
Two bricks. One brick had a hole.
One brick with a hole in it and one brick with a stick.
I saw that.
Brick lives matter. Brick lives matter.
All right, so who wants to set it off? Day, I want you to set it off because you had questions. Or set it off, Day.
Okay. Okay. So my take on the topic is, for me, it's always been about safety and causing the least amount of social disruption as I possibly can. Just last week, I was on TikTok live with somebody, and this man was basically like, if I see you following my daughter into the bathroom, then it's up, and I'm gonna punch you in your shit. So that's the environment and the political landscape that we live in, right? This, and to be honest, in the mindset, in the midst of this entire culture war that we're dealing with, it's like people are latching onto that and they're using it to generalize the entire trans population, and I think that's the issue. And it's like, if we can't explain, if anybody can be trans, then what is trans? That's my question. If anybody can identify as trans and then the next day they are allowed spaces and female spaces and moving through women's spaces, then what's the difference than a cis man walking into the bathroom? We can't stop him. He can identify as a trans woman tomorrow and just walk into the women's bathroom. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
I mean, that's where I was. That's where I was. What Day is saying, that was initially my perspective. But now I'm at a place where if they're not harming me and if they're not harming anybody else in the bathroom, it ain't my business. That's basic and simple. And yeah, they have made our identities political now. So it's nuts and it's crazy, but I think it's a non-factor for me at this point. I've seen so much happen in bathrooms, honey, especially growing up in Baltimore, my diamond. Honey, our bathrooms are known on Twitter, honey.
Okay.
I think I would like to say this, and I will not be before you long because I have an early morning. But what I will say is this: I think that this is an excellent example of being able to today's point specifically, not necessarily try to make it what is trans, but what is the safety precautions for bathrooms, right? Like, isn't this an opportunity for the gym to then, or all gyms or all public spaces, to then say no exposure of genitalia in this bathroom, or, you know, like being able to specifically state what you don't want to see in either bathroom, because I don't want to walk in a woman's bathroom and see somebody's vagina out either, right? Like, I've never been the girl to go in a public space or in school to like get stark naked and be like, oh well, this is all women in here, so I can just walk up. I think that that is to everybody's level of comfort and trauma. It's individual, and so no one should be completely naked in a bathroom in a public space. If you ask me, if you're not in the stall using the bathroom, or if you're not in a privacy bathroom, then I think that's where I am with the entire thing. And I think that that's a conversation that should be had about what that looks like. If safety is the issue, then no one should be exposing themselves, whether you're the same gender, genderless, no one should be exposing themselves in public spaces.
You brought up something interesting, Monroe. I think one of the reasons why I'm not really fazed about the bathroom is because growing up in a multicultural town, growing up in a very tight-knit multicultural space, my mind was blown the first time I went swimming with white people, no shade, and they were getting naked in the locker room, and that was taboo to me. It was like I grew up in a family that's very body positive, and we've all seen each other naked, and we're comfortable being naked around each other, but I grew up knowing, or I grew up feeling uncomfortable and sharing that with just random strangers. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting you brought that up.
The problem is that people want us to live up to this like visual standard that is not the same across the board. When even within the labels that we are trying to align with everybody, there is not a set line of what a trans woman looks like. There's not a set line of what any type of how we maneuver. Yes, you can say, oh, my standard is I want to be the most beautiful, passable, cisgender looking trans woman. But even if you get all the surgeries and all of that, there's some bricks out here that done did all of that stuff and they still bricks. Mm-hmm. And so if they go into a bathroom and some stranger, they don't fit their standard and they get to screaming, that's a man, that's a man. I'm never going to be the person that's going to jump up and defend that person treating them bad. I'm not going to do that. Absolutely. I don't think it's okay. And people saying we're living this reality. We live in this world where that's just how it is. That's just how it is. I want to live in a different world. And so in the process of us changing it, I'm going to treat people with respect. And so if you're treating somebody with respect because of their trans identity, I'm not fucking with you. And that's what she was doing. This ain't the first time she ran into this person in the bathroom. This ain't the first time. She ran into her multiple times when she's harassing that girl. Is she not passing? Sure, but she ain't passing either. Should I come in the bathroom and say to that black masculine lesbian, no, that's a man, and force everybody to pull their pants down to show their genitalia? No, nobody is going to fit into nobody's fit box about transness, womanness, manness perfectly. And so nobody ever is going to fit that mold ever.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I just want to say, like, even cis women, they all don't look the same. They all don't have the same standard. But I'm not going to tell anyone what to do or, how to navigate whatever. But what I will suggest is that we have to get away from saying that anybody can just identify as trans, because a lot of people think that being trans is exclusive to trans women and trans men, and it's just not the case. Words mean things, and so non-binary falls under that. And in my experience, being a non-binary person who navigates space with other non-binary people, I don't see them identifying as trans one day, then then a male then a man next day, and a woman the other week. That's just not what's going on. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't see people just like changing it up like every other week or whatever. So I think that is harmful in itself. But proceed.
I mean, to be fair, I was a person who did before deciding to identify as a woman. Pre-medical transition, I was what we call genderqueer, androgynous. One day I might look like a boy, one day I might look like a girl. On the average day, I might look like something in between. So it does exist, but for me, the whole thing is it should be able to exist, and it shouldn't be a thing. People
But
should be able to.
did y'all use women's faces when y'all were like early transition? Because I did not go into.
I did.
I used women's faces when I was a boy.
When I was a boy.
Well, maybe
and
that's
I would like to add that I was welcomed in there. I was welcomed because when we used to go out to the clubs, getting ready for the clubs, the girls would live for me. We would be in there. We would be pulling it together. Like, yes, girl. It was the moment that I started transitioning that it became like, girl, wait a minute. It was the transitioning moment when it started to begin. Right. And I was like, oh, okay.
My dick wasn't out though.
Yeah, I've never been in the bathroom naked.
I mean, we ain't seen no proof, and I have not heard her repeat that person's penis was ever out. Every time I seen her interact with them, they was tough. So that was my first question. It was like, how do you know this person has a big dick? And stereotypically, they're not known to have big ones.
Screaming. What I also want to introduce into the conversation is what Diamond was talking about earlier about policing the transness, right? We have to remember that we live in a world where cis women are being murdered for being assumed to be trans, right? And so we cannot police what it looks like or what the standard of beauty is based on your level of visibility to femininity, because that's really what it is to what we're talking about is whatever you deem feminine and passable, then that becomes the standard, and anybody that does not look like that is now in question. And for me, I think the interesting thing is to the point is that here is someone who is presenting masculinely, and you are the person that is causing this harm to someone who is identifying and also presenting in a feminine space.
So what do you say to the people that's going to say, well, she's still a woman, no matter what she presents as, she is still a woman. She's still a female, no matter what she presents as, because this is the argument that we keep getting, like, especially when it comes down to me and just hilarious. Like, I didn't even want to bring this up, but we the girls have the floor tonight. You know, I've watched so many people allow these females to get away with wearing us out, and the moment that we respond to it, because I'm not seeking out females saying, "Oh, your pussy stank," or "You a pussy ass hoe," or "Fuck you, bitch ass hoe." I could post a picture of myself, a video of myself, me walking or whatever, and there they are. You're a man. You're fat. You're ugly. You're this and the other. And I say, okay, well, girl, you're late. You're impoverished, bitch. Go get your wig. Whatever. I may say something back, and then you're attacking females now because you're responding back to the vitriol that you received from. And all of us on this panel have received vitriol and responded to it, and now they are the victims. And so I do believe in the whole aspect of protect Black women, because I present as a Black woman, and I feel protect. My mother is a Black woman. My grandmother is a Black woman. My aunts are Black women. So yes, it is definitely protect Black women. But when do Black women take accountability for being a part of the vitriol, or being a part of the disrespect, or just get accountability of, girl, you can't just berate us because you feel some type of way and we cannot respond. I want to say what I've learned in the discourse in these conversations is they view us as men, and they feel like that we are Black men. They're already going through whatever situations they're going through with Black men. And so because of the misogyny that's going on with Black men and misogyny with Black men towards Black women, we fall under that category. And so they feel like, well, you a man any motherfucking way, bitch. So I need to be able to tell your big dick ass to sit down, or I need to be able to tell you stay in your place. You know your place, sir. You know your place, mister. Bitch, don't you ever say anything to me. Your existence is a pure disrespect to me. And it's just like, I never start anything, or we never really start anything with them, but we will be on the finishing line.
Well, that goes to Monroe's point, right? Because who made the locker room unsafe? You are jumping around the gym, screaming and yelling. You are in the locker room with your cell phone recording. So when you talk protecting a space, you're making the space harmful. You're making the space violent, right? Like you, it's not about they scream protect black women, it's protect women, but that's hardly ever the root cause. And if we being honest, I want to say this too. If you listen to Tish's story, it has changed multiple times. It was first that the person name is Alexis, that Alexis had followed her into the locker room and called her a bitch. It was then she was getting dressed and she was naked. She turned around, she saw the Alexis person that she said was a man and went up to them and said, "Sir, what are you doing here?" So the story has changed. So it's like, what is the truth? Because it's definitely not coming from you, my love.
Yes, Tish
Also,
is not trustworthy at all. Tish is trying to get some press to promote her music. She's putting her music over all of these videos. I think two things are happening here. Tish is dead ass wrong because she wants to throw our community under the bus for some clicks and views.
Well, is she not a part of our community?
She is not a part of our community.
Is she not a lesbian?
A
yes,
lesbian,
she
a
is.
lesbian is not a trans women. They are not killing lesbians at the rate that they are killing trans women. So to them, and you can see it. It's the reason why she's willing to collaborate on that post with gays against groomers. It's not gays against other gays. It's gays against trannies. So that's one thing that's happening. The other thing that is happening, and I know that gym, I live in LA. I know Laith Ashley works out at that gym and sees her often. So I'm very familiar with what is going on here. She found someone who is, and I say this and we disagree here. This is where we disagree. I disagree with the panel. That is not a trans woman. That's not. I am not. I stand on that. That is not a trans woman.
We don't have that right.
You can look at the panel, and it's not about hormones. It's about the fact that we are making an effort and we are presenting ourselves as women. I don't care if you're a brick. This is not about that person being a brick. This is about that person. They have found the most polarizing person you can find so that this story can go. It doesn't go if that person looks like Diamonds or Dominique or Maddie or Hope or Day or me or Monroe. It doesn't go. It only goes if you find a person that looks it's like they cast it in a movie. So no, that person is not trans to me.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem because, listen, according to my research, going to Alexis' page and going through their social media, they look very different from what they used to appear with the beard, very masculine, shirt off, than what they look now. And if you look at their post from February, they talk about hormone replacement therapy. That happened in February. So from February to now, they look totally different. They may not look as feminine as possible, but beard is gone, nail polish is there, dressing in women's clothes, earrings, like the whole thing. So to make it seem like this person was just like this thugged out trade in the locker room is disingenuous.
They're white. They're never going to be
we also
thugged
said
out.
in the beginning of this video, we can't police someone's trances and what that looks like.
You
So we
said
can't say that person
I
is not trans. We can't say that.
But do we?
I do police. I am the police.
Maybe call the
I
police.
feel somewhat as well, though. Do we advocate for the girls to start using female spaces or women's spaces like day one? Like when is it acceptable? Is it like?
But my whole thing is that this is not a day one situation, and I think that what we're failing to realize is that we're not talking about one of us. She's not one of the girls in the sense that she's one of the black girls. They don't have the same social understanding or stigmas around the way that they get to walk around in their transition as we do. So we're having this conversation, number one, because a black lesbian was the person that called her out. Because honestly, if this was two white women, we would be laughing and keying and carrying on about our business. The only reason that this is even making rounds in the black community is because Tish is a black lesbian woman. So I want to lend that to the conversation. But on top of that, we have to be mindful of the fact that everybody didn't jump out of the womb Beyonce. You didn't
Correct.
take you didn't pop your first moan and look like Halle Berry in the 90s. Everybody started somewhere. And everybody had their first time going to that gym, going to that store, showing up at work, and just praying to make it through the fucking day, even though you know you're not all the way where you want to be at. And not only did this young lady do all of that and has been doing all of those things since February and probably been getting that in her personal life, but now this has gone viral. And imagine, you know how hard it is to go and do that shit and to put on a sports bra knowing you ain't got no titties and to throw your hair in a little small ponytail to make yourself feel a little bit feminine, and now the entire internet is reading you, bitch. Imagine if that would have happened to any one of us in our first step out moments. Some of us wouldn't even be trans anymore if that happened to us. And now we're subjecting somebody to that because, oh, she don't look the way we want her to look. Everybody is not transitioning to be the doll.
No, this
Some
isn't
people just
about
want to
being
do
the
their
doll.
thing.
This is
It's not a
I love
possibility.
take it.
I don't think it's a possibility argument. I think it's a presentation argument. I think it's an effort argument, like Quay said. I mean, I feel like if you're going to use women's faces, we've all been taught to make sure that you look the part so that you are not causing any type of social disruption.
But what if you don't? What if you don't?
But what do you mean? What if I don't?
What if you don't?
What if you?
What if you did all? If you did all the things that you were supposed to do, that everybody said your wig is right, your lace is right, your makeup color is right, everything is right, and you still get clocked? Does it justify the harm?
But we just said
I'm
that
gonna
it's not
defend you.
an argument about passability, though. We just said that. I don't think.
But inherently, when y'all say that it's about when y'all say that it's about trying and effort, you're inherently making it about passability.
No, we're not.
You're making it about passability, and we're making it misogynistic because we're going back to beauty standards. And at the end of the day, we've been socially constructed to adhere to European beauty standards. Like, I can't tell you how many times I done heard lace mentioned on this damn live, and ain't none of y'all ever seen me with false hair. What about the fact that I don't try? I come on this bitch purposefully. If any of y'all ever seen me in person, y'all know I don't give this in person. I come on this bitch purposefully. Clean
But bitch, you give the fish though.
hair, but should I be allowed? I didn't ask for this look. This is genetics. I just happen to look like the women in my family naturally.
The reason why I say it's about effort is only because these stories are manufactured. Our identities is a political football, and we cannot trust everything that we see. So I am not willing to get on the internet and say that's a trans woman, I'm gonna stick behind her, because I know that a lot of this stuff is orchestrated, and that's not conspiracy theory, that's real. And I agree with you, Bree. It's like, what does this have to do with me? It has to do with me because they're not going to come after the non-binaries. They're going to come after us because we need the hormones. We need the gender affirming care. We need female on our ID. This is my real life. This is not my pronouns. I live this, and I've been living this I'm 30 years old. I transitioned at 15. I've been living this for half of my life.
And you're one of the youngest people on this panel. I've been living as a trans woman for more than half of my life at this point, and it's damn near as old as you. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we should, like it's been said on this panel already, we should not be adhering to cis hetero beauty standards. We should not be holding other trans people to those beauty standards. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to come up here and sound all preachy, because my views have grown since being online. Like, I was initially one of those girls. Me personally, when I first started transitioning, I was genderqueer for so long because I told myself that if I didn't pass, I wasn't going to transition. So that's to give you, I understand the mind frame. And I know that a lot of us kind of had to go through this rite of passage to be unsafe in bathrooms until we were able to present a certain way. And just because we had to go through a rites of passage that was unsafe for us doesn't make it right for us to do it to other people.
And I also want to introduce, I'm sorry, damn it. I just want to introduce two things. Quaytan, I hear you, right? I also want to introduce to the chat that this is the gym. So if this person was working out, if this person was, you know what I'm saying, sweating and just getting out the shower and didn't have a chance to present the way that they would when they were heading out into the world, they were in here working out, right? So, and to the point of the research, like Jerome was saying, the hormones since February, all of those things. So I get and I completely understand the real life thing, to the point of I am a girl who is a creature of habit. I just had a whole anxiety attack the other day because I went to a church that I had never been to before, and it was a mega church, right? Now, I asked the question prior, like, is this a mega church? And my brother said no, but I go where I'm familiar because I know the people know me. They've been polite to me there. I go to the same coffee shop. You know, I go to those safe spaces that I've been in, and they ain't clocked the set, and, you know, all of those things. And I've been transitioning for almost 9 years, right? So I know a little bit about going into these unsafe spaces, but going to a new space that I had never been to before, that was experiencing so many different people, there was this anxiety that had built up in me. It was all wrapped in safety. The people were nice. The churchgoers were nice. People were caring about what was going on, but my anxiety was telling me people were staring at me. People were looking at me. And those were the things that was causing this heavy anxiety in me. So I completely get it about the unsafe space, right? But what happens when any of us on this panel are now deemed not passable in a space that we go into because our hair isn't the way that it's supposed to be, or our makeup isn't, and we have presented away? Like, that's what I'm saying. So I think that going back to my first point, I think this is an excellent opportunity to then create more safer measures and protocols, right? Like, no genitalia should be exposed in a public bathroom.
At all.
Right? And then also making things more, having spaces where individuals can then do these extra things. But I don't want to get into a space where I'm now allowing someone to police my presentation, let alone then transitioning into, because it's going to start with the presentation, then it's what I wear, then it is what I do, then it is, there's another enslavement in my mind. And so I just want to then, if we're going to have a conversation surrounding safety, then let's have a conversation surrounding safety, and then how we can move forward from that. And if we're going to transition the conversation into how can the community members of the LGBTQIA then support what safety measures look like and how we can stand in unity, then that's a different conversation. But I think we can all go into our own experiences about what it looks like and who raised us and what our definitions or levels of femininity should or shouldn't be, and presentation. And I think those don't serve our community well.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Monroe, because all of us on this panel have been clocked. The pussiest of us gets clocked down to the floor. But to devil's advocate that, why isn't it never the Black girls?
Well, as the newest girl and probably the clockiest girl on the panel.
Girl, hush.
No, because all of y'all know some bitch that done said that about me in a chat somewhere. What they say, I just transitioned 5 minutes ago, right?
It's not me, girl. I would drag them together and post them online.
But my point is, as someone who, the only surgery I've had is my gastric sleeve, right? As someone who has not, I resonate with this idea of the fear of presentation, but also someone who transitioned with a great deal of privilege. And I was able to, I didn't have to learn how to do my makeup. I didn't know anything about hair, but I was wigged and done. I did not know, and my privilege positioned me not to have to know. I was able to recognize early on how my presentation would be a weapon of safety for me. Mm-hmm. I will also say, I think my age, but also I'm 43, right? And I think my age and I think the experience of having to conform and kind of realize how systems move as millennials and 80s babies, it's easy for us to conform to systems of oppression because we're just bitch, I just want to make it and get through. Girl, everybody don't want to be a Sada Shakur every day, so on and so forth, right? And so it's easy for me to be okay, bitch, I'm bald as Lil Bill under this, right? I don't know the world where I would walk outside and go to the grocery store right now and feel not only comfortable, but feel safe. Do I want to have that type of confidence and mindset one day? Sure, because that is how I show up in the world. And I don't want to feel like my wig denotes my womanhood. At the same time, that's an area of tension, right? And we're very public. All of us are very public people. one thing that I wish we would talk about is, I think there's the presentation, but I think there's also the component of race and the experience of race. And I know Madison brought up the conversation about Black girls. One, I've just been thinking since, because this video was posted like 10 days ago. You know what I'm saying?
October 26th.
It was a while, right? And I remember thinking, I don't know Black girls who can afford a membership to Gold's Gym. And then I'm just like, okay, in who's living in LA, learn, you know what I'm saying? Like all those components. And then I was like, in that moment, I hear everyone talking about, yes, the oppression of the expectation of how you present. And also, I feel like everybody on this panel, even though we know that's there, I'm like, in real time, when I was watching that video, I'm like, that person shouldn't have to, but I'm like, what is the de-escalation mindset to just get out of there and be safe for that person? Like in that moment, I was like, well, what's that conversation? And then it continues to level up to me. No one's holding Gold's Gym accountable to how they created this environment. My thoughts and questions are, do they let people know that all like how they people, do? They do. And I'm like, what is the training process? How are staff trained in de-escalating and handling these situations? What did the one what's her name?
Tish.
What did Tish sign when she came in? Because it feels like she doesn't know that there was they put her out. Well, I'm just saying, like, it feels like she didn't know there was a possibility she could turn around and somebody could have a penis. And I'm just saying, like, this is all, like, I know you have personal understanding of Tish Quay, but I'm like, this is me from the back end. I do agree. Don't want to push aside a person's authentic fear, but 5 or 6 days in, it gave. I would like to write an anthem about protecting, the things. It slightly gave a tinge of that, which multiple truths can exist at once. Last but not least, her one solution of safety is a petition that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance need to sign on to give her safety. And the only person involved in all of this situation who is a documented sexual predator is Donald Trump. And I keep wondering, if we focus on the idea of you feeling unsafe, which is what we should focus on, what is the true remedy that we can get out of this? Because at the end of the day, okay, you don't want the trans girls in there, right? Everybody's like, let's get trans bathrooms. If we weren't getting trans bathrooms in the renaissance of the trans, we ain't getting snapped. We ain't getting snapped. They definitely gonna give us no bathroom. So that's not a solution. So I feel like, well, how do we actualize safety? And the last thing I will say is, Madison was talking about, I feel as though most women see trans women as men, and I think we, for them, are a population of men that they more than likely are able to hold accountable to the harm of men than cis men. That there's a world where everybody will rally around them seeing trans women as bad people and essentially men, and we are a classification of men that actually can be called out, and they can put the outcomes of the patriarchy and these other systems at our feet. And most people corral around it, right? Because everyone understands safety and bathrooms when it's us, but there's no conversations around, there's at least 5 men who have been arrested in high and powerful positions in the last week around sexually harming people. There's a Black woman who was a teacher who just beat a case for raping a student in her fucking classroom. But that's not the conversation. It's the phantom belief of fear of bathrooms across the country. Were bitches pissing before 2020? Was y'all like, what was happening? Because my next question is like, this is before Ogerfeld. Okay, so like for generations, folks have been using restrooms and figuring it out. I don't know is there a conversation of the world we want to see and how we navigate it versus the world we're living in and how we might have to navigate it for the next however many years? Let me say this. So, because sometimes y'all say stuff and it confuses me. So just because white people think that they are superior, I'm supposed to act like I'm not, I'm inferior. Just because motherfuckers think something, the reality of a situation, doesn't mean I'm supposed to move within their reality. I feel like y'all are justifying harm of trans people just because they don't align with the cisgender standard. And for me, and then y'all turn around and act like y'all are legislating and organizing for the safety of trans people, but then you say, oh, but you got to fit this standard to be safe. That doesn't feel comfortable to me. That doesn't feel okay.
That part. That part. Everybody out here is trying to do this work and do this work, and I'm working for the community, but you're only working for the community with bitches that you agree with, align with your aesthetics. And we see it in the way that y'all click up. Oh, it's a trans convening. No, it's a you and your bitches convening. Because no trans men were invited. The girls that don't look a certain way weren't invited. And most of the people that are doing the work are the girls that y'all want to throw away, the non-binary people that you don't want to acknowledge, and half of the clocky girls who are trying to get the resources to do the thing that you're asking them to do. And so at this point, we're hypocrites to our own fucking movement. Either we're here for all of the people in the trans community, we want everybody to eat, or we don't want to eat at all, because those are the two options.
Oh, you know, everybody's not here for all the community. But what
we know that, but what I'm saying is, I agree with Dominique. Don't preach it if that's not what the fuck you mean. Say what you mean and mean what the fuck you say.
Would you do this if you were in a space with your homegirl that's bricky? Because I be in spaces with bricky girls, and somebody came in and said, she don't look like a girl, we want her out of here. I would flip that motherfucking table like Jesus if they did that to my friend. I would not be saying, well, girl, you did, your lace wasn't right. Oh, girl, you have a little stubble on your chin. Oh, they did clock you, girl. You didn't have the right makeup on. Girl, you would not say that to your friend.
No, you're correct. I would not say that to my friend.
So why are you saying it about her?
Because I am rejecting the premise. I'm rejecting the premise.
But who are you to do that?
Of this, I am doing it because of this story. I do not believe that that is a trans woman.
But you just got information that in February they started their hormones, and how are you rejecting them?
Because I have visual eyes.
And so you're doing what cis women do to us. You are doing what cis women do to us.
Absolutely.
You are doing what cis women do to us.
Quay, that's
Can I say this?
Quay, that's bullshit.
Can I
That
say
is
this?
bullshit, Quay. You cannot dictate what somebody else identifies themselves as. You are one of the girls that actively talks about your big dick and how you use it. That is a cause for people to illegitimize your womanhood.
That's fine. That's fine.
And
I'm not.
It's not fine.
You are using an accelerationist.
It's not.
You are
Can I
using
say-
an accelerationist theory. I am dealing with what is right in front of me. I am not.
And what's
looking at
right
what
in front of us are the
I'm-
facts that this girl has been transitioning since February.
Baby, she's not. Y'all are living in a delusion.
Can I say
Look
something?
at the girl and see she's not trans.
Can I say something?
Quay, you are literally right now speaking talking points and agreeing with people who don't see it for you and don't see it for any of us on this panel, regardless of what we look like. You are agreeing with bigots right now. You are sounding like a bigot.
Sometimes two things can be true. I don't have to align. I don't have to agree with the community standards. There is nuance to things. And what I am saying is, if you are a transgender woman, it is not about looking a certain way, but you at least gotta have a wig on, baby girl. If you're going into women
Is that not look?
spaces.
That is looking a certain way. You are literally.
It is. No, it's not about passing. It's
Can I
about
say something?
making an effort.
Okay, hold on, Jerome. You've asked a few times to say something. I hear what you're saying, Quay, and I'm gonna try to regurgitate what you're saying in a second. Say it, Jerome.
I would just like to say, like, I saw a lot of the comments saying they're not trans because they're not on hormones. Then when they found that the person is on hormones, like, they're not trans, they are setting this up because some political thing. Meanwhile, the only person that has been adamant on making this a political conversation is Tish. We've only seen Alexa speak about this one time on TMZ, yet every post that Tish has made since that day has been about making this political. So why is the goalpost continuously moving for Alexis? I'm confused.
Okay, what I'm hearing Quay say is this. I'm hearing Quay say two things can be true at the same time. I hear Quay saying, no, I'm not telling you that, you have to pass. What I'm telling you is if you say you're trans, all of us here on this panel understand what it's like to go through the stages of going from sand to clay to brick to pavement, bitch, to house.
To diamond.
We know to diamond. We know the levels of it, and there's many different variations of it. So we will accept We will accept. We will say, all right, you're trans. Got it. Ma'am, we here on the panel understand trans. Them out on the outside don't give a fuck about. They don't care about that. They don't see it. They don't want to understand that. So what I'm hearing Quay say a bit, just a tad, is that it's like, girl, if you give it a little push, you know, you can tell when somebody is confused because their eyes get to squinting and they like, I don't know. Because we do it to the cunts. We when we confuse on the cunts. Because it's a lot of cunts that get clocked.
And
we be squinting our eyes like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. But what gets her through might be that heel. What gets her through, it might be that lash. What gets her through, it may be the boobs shoved together. What gets her through outside in the regular. So for safety purposes, I'm hearing this for safety purposes.
She should work out in makeup.
No, not in makeup, Monroe.
She should work out in a wig because I go
No,
to the gym without my wig
Monroe.
on.
She shouldn't work out. She should. Okay, let's be clear here. Mama's got a way to go.
That is true. But when it's
okay, so if we're going to introduce that to the chat for the sake of this conversation, sure, she got a long way to go. However, she wasn't at the Met Gala. She wasn't trying to push through at the nearest club or nightclub. Mama was in there getting her workout on. And also she may have had her ball dress or her wig and also her Dorothy shoes in her locker that she was trying to get to before Tish interrupted her in the middle of her very funky groove. So we can't say, well, listen, let me just talk about me. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. What I will not do is try to police her in that space because I know what it's like when a bitch tried to police me. So if Mama's was pushing through with a brush cut, a buzz cut, and a few whiskers, and all she trying to do is get her biceps together, push on, sister, push on. I'm not here to dictate what that look like for you. If the conversation, back to what I was saying, is rooted in safety, then let's talk about the protocol, the procedures, how to de-escalate, what all of that looks like. If this is about trying to get the unity back in the community, then let's talk about that. But it's just a lot of distraction and deflection tactics because to the point, there isn't any Black trans women that this has been publicized or national news about.
Because we know better. We know better. Monroe, we know better. Monroe, sorry, we know better. We know better.
No. It has happened to me. It just wasn't public. We don't get the privilege of it being public. I was in college and they tried to kick me out of a bathroom. And I was doing all the right stuff. Listen, what I don't like is the arbitrary line of womanhood. And we all, cis and trans, got this shit going on and it's not enough. If you ain't a family and got a husband, had babies, you're not woman enough. If you ain't got a uterus, you're not woman enough. You can't have a period, you're not woman enough. That's the cis women. That if you're not small enough or dainty enough, you're not woman enough. If you ain't got titties yet, you're not woman enough. If it's so many lines that everybody got to define womanhood, and we are judging people. What I don't want to happen is harm to us, if just based on these fucking arbitrary lines, because they don't work for any of us.
Diamond, I get that, right? But so then we need to have the conversation around where do we come to a middle ground? Because as trans women, we do have to share these spaces with cis women. And even Hope mentioned in her video that there are cis women, like fuck Tish, right? Like clearly she's a transphobe, clearly she's doing this for clout. But the cis women who came to Hope and said hey, maybe this person and how they present makes me feel uncomfortable. What do? Say fuck them and their feelings, and then we just take over the space? Where's the common ground?
That's why I said about protocols, right? Because if it's
never going to be a common ground.
That's what I'm saying. So then where how do we navigate these spaces?
But that's the issue.
We could have the real conversations for real. I mean, from my psychoanalytical standpoint, keep in mind, she's somebody who I haven't treated or had a personal conversation with, but I have listened to her content in full, regarding this subject. I have watched her go on for weeks about this person and these men in these bathrooms. In my opinion, Tish is really dealing with some issues because she feels like her body is being viewed by somebody with a penis. She doesn't want to be seen by somebody with a penis, and she makes this very clear in her content, and she don't give a fuck how much you pass. She don't think that transness is real, blah, blah, all of these things. And a lot of that transphobia, I believe, in my psychoanalysis via the internet, I believe, in my opinion, that it's all rooted in some trauma that she has experienced regarding people who have penises.
And she needs treatment for that. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. She's not the only person that has been raped. She's not the only person that's been molested. So sign up with fairy puss therapy and handle that.
I don't want to be a part of or be considered to co-sign this idea that her trauma is coming out in a way that's harmful, but I just want to make it very clear that the root of the behavior is real, and like the kind of this goes really crazy, and I just want to make it clear that I believe the safety piece of the conversation. I think the biggest concern I have is Tish doesn't know what she needs to really make herself safe because she hasn't been able to dive into it. And from a space of fairness, when it comes to, as a clinician myself and a person who does this work, labeling people and forcing people into that care, that's just as harmful as talking about presentation for a lot of people. You can't force people to look at the shit that's inside of them and how it's spewing out of them, even if we know the root cause. And so outside of if we focus on the people, it's always going to be based on what someone looks like and what they could have done, right? Once I saw somebody walking around with a pussy that they built and a bitch still called them a man, I was like, bitch, the lines don't exist. It's foolery and fuckery. I'm not doing it. Once I saw that the girls had beat King Koopa and they completed all of Super Mario Brothers and the bitches still was like, man, I said, girl, fuck that. That being said, if we take it out of the people and we talk about, well, can we actualize safety?
So why you had to weigh me out like that? First of all?
Wait, hold on, Monroe. Wait, Monroe. Is she talking about your pussy?
I think so.
Is she talking about your pussy, Monroe?
We talk about this. This is what we talk about. And I say this.
These are our conversations.
I saw the girls and I'm just like, these bitches are beautiful. These bitches are pumping through. And these girls got twats and y'all still are calling them sir?
Still clock. Still Rolexed.
I'm not doing I wear 5 pairs of drawers, bitch, before I go through that hell if that's not what moves me. And it don't at this point. That being said, if we take it out of the people and focus on the concept of what safety is, I think that is the true impasse we are at, because I don't think, even if it's a room of trans people, that we know how to actually look at BTAC, a space where it's all Black trans folks, except for the cis girls that the trans men bring, right? That even when it's all us, actualizing a definition of safety that fits everybody is a struggle. So I think that's the question I have. Can we create safety in mixed spaces that are public spaces? Is it possible? I'm not trying to be funny. I love everybody, because y'all are kikiing, and this shit is going to get clipped. And
that's all you keep saying.
But no, I'm dead ass, Dominique. You're touching on the point that I was trying to make. I think essentially there's a lot of cis women who have felt trauma because of things that they have experienced from people who have a penis, and they associate us with that. I think that is the root cause for why they're not feeling safe and why this is commonly accepted amongst because at the end of the day, they really don't feel safe about men. It's men.
But also, I think the taint of nuance here is that we're looking at a dark-skinned, masculine-presenting lesbian woman who looks like a man in the face for all intents and purposes.
And the body. And the body. Look
and
at
the body. And the body.
Wait. It's true. But
go away.
But I think that what's also happening here is that when we talk about safety, Tish does not make those women who fit into a binary presentation of womanhood feel safe in the bathroom.
I don't feel safe being seen by Tish. I don't feel safe being in the gym with Tish. I think Tish would whip my ass. Bitch, I ain't even gonna lie to you. She talked about trans girls taking advantage of her. Tish, I think that you could whip my ass, rape me, steal my pussy, my meat, all of it, bitch.
Oh my God.
Everything. But the thing about that is, how many times do we think that she's been complained on herself? Now she's found somebody that she can pick on, somebody that people are gonna rally behind her when she does this. There's no
Engagement.
backlash, and in the midst of all of the bullshit, she gets to push her fucking music, and everybody's missing that part. So
And
on
that's
top
the
of her
point.
trauma, her sexual trauma, she has social trauma that nobody's addressing, and then she also has an agenda that Quay has been addressing, but I don't think that it's a one or the other. I think that it's a culmination of all of those three things tied together, that it's a white person, so more people are less likely to give a fuck and villainize her, and it's became the perfect storm, but that don't make it right.
And I would like to
Career is canceled, whether she knows it or not. That music is a rap, bitch.
and I just want to name too that prior to the Tish situation, Alexis was hitting that she's never had a problem in that gym before. There's never been complaints on her before until Tish made, her thing, and then a couple of people complained because of Tish reaction, but she's been safe in that gym. And to our knowledge, other women have felt safe enough to not,
First of all, when you watch the video as Tish is crashing out, nobody is even stopping to listen.
Alexis said that the other women in the gym was comforting her.
Yeah.
And you can see that.
Most of y'all are from the South. So this is in LA. This is where I'm from. So we have so many spaces are gender neutral. We do have gender neutral gyms. Not that one, but you can be affirmed here in LA. That's just how we get down. I think y'all are so smart, and I agree with so much of what you're saying. I feel like where we just differ is where I like to live in the reality, because I want to keep trans people who are trans for real safe.
Your reality. That's your reality.
I want to keep the real trans people safe. And I do feel like there's a lot of people who play in gender, and I've seen it. I've seen them do it in the media. You could say you're non-binary, or you could say you're a trans woman. I see people play in gender all the time, and this is not a game to me. This is for real.
Women feel that way about y'all.
Girl, well, hold on.
Cis women feel that way about y'all.
That's
coded.
I affirm what you're saying.
Fish.
I'm pointing over here to you. Like, quit saying I affirm what you're saying. However, this is not one of those times, right? Like, so yes, there are.
That is
people,
a just hilarious talking point.
Yeah, there are people.
Hold on. Do y'all want to dissect that while we're here?
And neither are hilarious.
Neither are hilarious.
I
don't want to bring any more bricks into the conversation than we have to.
No more bricks? Okay.
But I do think in the conversation of these are tropes that are utilized in every other system, because earlier on TikTok, it was a white woman who came in my comments like, if you want me to be playing, I feel unsafe, and anyone who could possibly overpower me and all these things. Valid fears and concerns. And I replied to her and said, I understand how you feel, because that's how I feel navigating white people. And there were people, and it was specifically Black women who were like, well, what does it have to do with that? I said, because I understand what it's like to walk through the world, understand what could happen, not know who I'm around. I said, but the difference is there is a historical documentation of the true violence of these folks' existence. And I still have to figure out how to push through, right? I have to navigate that fear. And I can't walk around and say, remove these white people because I know they could be dangerous to me, so they have to leave the room. And people were gagged. And I wanted to say, this is a real thing I feel, but also, okay, y'all need a trans bathroom. Well, you need a color fountain. Like, all of these things echo each other, and Black folks, I feel like they don't want to validate it because they feel like we are making a choice. We're choosing to be marginalized.
Yeah.
We're being born into marginalization.
Yeah.
And I think that doesn't open Black folks up to us coming together and having real conversations. And that's why, at the end of the day, in another world, I would reach out to Trish and want to try to have this conversation and be like, how do we get you to something that feels like closure? but I don't feel like that openness is there.
She wouldn't receive it. She wouldn't
She
receive it
wouldn't.
because Dominique, how you would hit her is imagine if you were in the women's room and women were screaming out, they are uncomfortable because your strong bike ass is up in there making them feel uncomfortable because there's a man in here. Imagine.
She would say it was misogynoir.
Imagine that your black ass was standing up there with all those biceps, triceps, and quadriceps, and those goddamn cornrows going back, and white women began to brigade and spin around in a circle and go up there and said, "There's a few comments that are coming in that I'd like to highlight." There are biological women in here saying that we want biological women respect, but we're disrespecting biological women. I'd like to know how are we disrespecting? How?
We've barely even truly discussed Trish in a way that has really come. So okay, wait, pause. If you're talking about me naming that she looks like a man in the face, she does. And I think that the same way that y'all are, the same way that y'all like to say, oh, it's about the truth. You were born a male. The truth is, while she may have been born female, that woman has a very masculine face.
And body.
And body. And if we can't name that, then y'all shouldn't be able to name that we were born male. Because do Blue need to bring you a clue or what?
I just want to say, I'm not looking for your respect. I'm not looking for cis women's respect. I just want safety. That's it.
And so that goes back to that this is an opportunity to talk about safety and protocols and procedures and de-escalation tactics, maybe keeping all genitalia, hidden.
It's the gym, no. It's not a bathroom. It's a gym. So that's
No, but it was the bathroom of the gym where we're talking about how people. So
the locker room
itself, right? Like
that's how people
a gendered space.
Yeah, but people get naked to go into the shower, right? Like you can put your towel on the hook and go into the thing. Like you don't have to be walking around with your ass out.
But my thing is, but let's just assume, my thing is the person to meet in this situation, to be perfectly honest, that is most likely to cause harm is the masculine affirming lesbian in a space where there are likely people that she would be attracted to. This trans woman is very likely not even interested in women. So when we think about the person that is most likely in that space to cause harm,
most of us are not.
Most of the girls are not.
Oh, here you go, big Madison. Here you go, you big bitch.
But for people, just so people don't lose this in a factual conversation, sexual harm is not historically rooted in attraction; it's rooted in power. So folks may not be attracted, but I don't want people to leave and make it seem as if we're not adding that important context.
Absolutely.
Touche.
And if we're going to add further context, statistically, trans women are not known to rape cisgender women.
They don't give a fuck about that, though. They don't give a fuck about that. What they give a fuck about is having a moment, because we are polarizing. We're two things at the same time. You got to hold two thoughts, that you can have a male body and a woman presentation, and people have problems holding two things.
And see, that's the problem itself in thinking that we're two things. We are one thing. There are people who live outside of this binary box. There are people who are born outside of this binary box. The problem is these binary fucking boxes. Even in this fucking conversation, we are ignoring people who are intersex. I mean, to be honest, Trish said that fuck the plus, it should be just LGBT. She said fuck the plus, the IA plus. But honey, I wouldn't be surprised if Trish goes to the doctor, get her chromosomes checked, and she's not 100% female, as I said in my response to her initially. Bitch, you a little too brick for that estrogen to be running through you like it's supposed to.
And according just to my research, within this last year, and they said in years prior, women and girls who have been harmed physically, sexually, in women's spaces have been harmed more so by cisgendered men who are masked and presents male than some men dressing up as a trans woman. So like it's really not a thing. It really doesn't exist. and having this large conversation about something that really doesn't exist just seems a little bit odd.
And I want to bring up playing around with gender, because we talked about that a little bit. Jerome, you brought it up. I'm sure a lot of people are going to look at you as the eyeball on the panel.
Yeah.
There are people who play with gender. And even as trans women, I'm sure all of us have been on this panel, have played with gender, whether it's been Halloween, whether it's been trying a new hairstyle, whether it's been considering various procedures to transition or to pass or to feel pretty. You know what I mean? People will play with gender. There are people who may identify as trans one day and realize that that is not their identity overall.
Is that like Demi Lovato? Oh,
very much so.
I think, and Kaylon, I think that we should, I think that we should work toward a space, or be trying to work toward a space where it shouldn't matter. We need to, like Monroe has brought up many times, we need to reconsider gender spaces. We need to reconsider how we live and exist in restrooms, because there are a lot of people who may not be trans women who won't feel comfortable in the men's restroom.
We do that in LA.
Whether they're non-binary, whether they're whatever. And it shouldn't be our business as long as they're not harming anybody.
Because what's going to continue to happen, to Diamond's point earlier, is that the line is just going to keep moving. You can't have, you got to have breasts, but now them breasts got to be silicone. They can't be tummy. Now they got to be this. They got to be that. And it's like, what is the, if safety is the root cause, right? What can this business or establishment do to now make sure that everyone feels safe in this space, right? One of the things that I'm not even gonna bring that up. I'm gonna pass. Go ahead.
Don't get us there. Stop.
Now, because one of the things that we still have yet to discuss, or what I feel like is one of the most important pieces in this whole thing, is like the unity amongst the entire community, right? Like, how do we get back to that? Like, because we keep having these conversations at one point it's the gays against trans, then it's the lesbians against trans. Then next thing you know, the bisexual is gonna come out of the clear blue sky out of nowhere, and then it's
non-binary trans
again. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we have to really like figure out what this unity piece looks like, because we all are. If the goal really is true liberation for the community, then what does that look like, right? Like, if safety is the issue and liberation is the destination, how do we get there?
That looks like allowing people to exist.
And also in the process of creating a world that we want to live in, not that exists, not the reality of right now. In the process of creating a world that we want to live in, how are we moving within that process? Do we have to wait to the reality of the good, wholesome, safe world before we start moving in a way that, how do we start moving? Because if we stick to moving like the standard of cis people, justifying bad and harm and negative stuff based on cisgender beauty and cisgender way of living, then the world never comes to fruition. So how are we moving? Especially everybody in this space. Everybody in this space said, fuck what the doctor said, fuck what the world said I was supposed to be. We bucked up against that system and started moving different in how we wanted to see the world. So just because the world ain't where we want it to be, why do we have to move in a way that's aligned with them? I'm trying to understand that.
But my thing is, we've been doing that. We've been moving in alignment. They just started acting like they had an issue with it. Let's be very, very clear about this. This is not something new. We've all grown up knowing a trans person, a super high femme drag queen that never came up out of the geesh, somebody in community that was that community's tranny, or whatever you want to call that person, but we all had one. And everybody's person understood their place in society. You didn't see this happening in the early 2000s where everybody named mama was getting clocked at the airport and people were trying to do that. The amount of engagement and praise that comes with the villainization of trans people these days is what keeps these folks on a high. outside of the community. When you talk about what happens inside of the community, what I think that we're trying to skate around is the fact that what people realize is that when the money started to trickle down and fall from the sky and Chicken Little looked up, trans people were the benefactors of a lot of those things that other communities felt like they deserved. And a lot of these people are trying to get rid of us in an effort to then take the resources that are being allocated specifically for us so that they can say, well, y'all are gone and we are not stealing it like they're doing anyway. And I think that that's the thing that we have to be mindful of, is that we're so busy fighting for crumbs that we are not protecting each other, because we feel like if these people stay on top, that I don't have the resources that I need for my part of the community, when we keep forgetting that we're all one community.
Diamond talked about like the conversation of us existing for the world we want to have. And for me, that comes down to an abolitionist approach, right? And I think the first step is everyone's going to have to feel comfortable with there not being a standard that you can meet. Meaning that there's no way for everyone to define whether they are excellent or they've achieved their goal, which is very difficult for people to do. It's very difficult for people, even when you've done the job of breaking out of the box you were put in, right? There's some standard of what does it mean? There used to be some sort of definition of what does it mean to transition completely. There was some definition of that people held at one time, right? That made people feel like I've done the thing, so I'm valid and I'm here. Then it shifted a little more. When it was more accessible, then there was something else, right? These shifts keep happening, but we're going to have to let go of the hierarchy of achieving the ultimate goal. And I don't think a lot of trans folks want to do that, because I also feel like a lot of folks don't do the internal work. To let go of the idea of achieving or fitting inside of a box, you got to be okay just feeling like you're great with just being yourself. And I think
girl, fish starts in the face.
I was about to say,
but that's what I'm saying. I don't think that we will reach a critical mass, especially with Black trans women. I don't think we will reach a critical mass of most girls saying, none of that matters to me. These things won't hold me hostage, because a lot of girls either enjoy it or they trick themselves.
Girl, listen, and none of us up here want no man that want us with no motherfucking goddamn Santa Claus beard. That's why we don't got no Santa Claus beard. None of us want no motherfucking man. None of us don't want no man that want us, bitch. We ain't got no goddamn the things. We want to be.
How do we keep the girls who aren't there yet safe?
I don't want it to get lost.
How do we keep them safe?
No, that's the question. How do we keep the girls that are not there yet safe?
Well, the girls that are not there there. Hold on. The girls that are not there. The girls that are not there are the ones that's getting all the men. What are we talking about here?
I know a bitch with
the girls that are not there.
Facial films that look like this motherfucker.
The girls that are not there are getting all the men. What are we talking about?
But this is why I said I don't want it to get lost, because to Dominique's point, right? Like to Dominique's point about we have to remember that it is individual. So if your definition is that for you, it's not for someone else. So let your journey be individual and tailor-made to you. If you want breasts, great. If somebody else don't got them, don't make her less than a woman. That's hers. It is your individual journey. It's an individual journey, right? Like, and these are the things that you get for yourself or don't get for yourself.
And I would love. Oh, go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
No, like I completely understand that. And like I completely denounce like trans medicalism, right? But when it comes to maneuvering through society, and we, like I said, we have to share these spaces with cis women. I love the idea of this gender abolitionist society, like on paper, but how do we maneuver through society until then? Until we get to that point? How do we share these spaces with cis women and not step on toes? So that should be the question.
Mm-hmm. And I think but
giving up power feels like your toes are being stepped on. It don't matter. If giving up space that we're supposed to be in because we are women is going to feel like their toes being stepped on, and we can't get around it.
Because that's what Tish, what's her name? Tish or Trish? I don't know.
Tish.
But that's what she felt like. She felt like her toes were being stepped on because this woman was in the bathroom doing what she was doing, which was existing. So she was feeling like her power was being threatened and her toes were being
just like white people did
because that
during
person was in the
Reconstruction.
bathroom. Not that she was causing any harm, not that she was disrupting anyone, not that she was preying on anyone, but because she was in that space and didn't present the way that she felt comfortable enough or comfortable with. And so that is, so to your point, Day, about like, how can we exist? Remembering that you in there to do what you doing, and then when you finish, get out.
And then they're going to be like Republicans. When we make accommodations and make compromises, they're going to take the space and then continue to move the line because they don't want us there anyway. It doesn't matter if we're passable or not. They don't want us there if they're transphobes. So it doesn't matter about accommodating them. They're never going to be okay with us. The ones who are not okay, they're never going to be okay.
That's
and so I'm not going to break my neck to accommodate them. I know that I want all of us to be safe. And if I'm working hard to make all of us be safe, then I'm not accommodating no bitch just because she don't like me because I'm trans. Fuck you. No.
Speaking of bitches don't like everybody, who just put up Angelica's comment? Who did that shady shit?
I want to touch on the race. I want to touch on the race piece, because to keep it 100, you got a panel full of black people caping for a white trans woman.
Not me. I'm not.
Let me rephrase that. You have a panel full of black trans people discussing and giving attention and giving our time and our voice to a situation involved.
I'm more caping for the bricks.
Because it impacts black.
Well, here's the reason. But we're doing this because after all of this fizzles out, that white girl gonna go back over there. She gonna have her motherfucking diamond tiara earrings in her ear. She's gonna transition. She's gonna document her transition. She might even get a television show. Who knows? I don't know. That might even happen for her. She gets the opportunity as a white woman to move as white women do. Like Caitlyn had the opportunity to run those people over, got a whole series. They get to do what white people do, what white women do. We get the short end of the stick by still having to continuously deal with it. Just like Glad is over there parading Snoop Dogg up and down the thing. I windmilled about being able to just say that 2 lesbian women can have kids because maybe one adopt. They probably had to adopt. The black community tore me up for weeks. Just the testicles got up there, made these things about me, and then it began. I attacked Jess because I said, "Girl, sit down, Meteor Man, sit down." And it began to, I attacked her. And it's just like, so when I'm speaking on defending my community from phobes, that means lesbophobes, transphobes, faggot phobes, whatever. When I'm speaking up against for my community, then some people in my community was tearing me up, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, Glad went over there, got in the white spaces. They running him all around instead of them sitting him down with black people who were the black people that were tearing and ripping us apart, ripping me apart. They got the white people sitting over there having a whole white conversation. This
They had Darian be the host.
Well, that's Darian's program, but also Madison, I'm glad that you brought that up because I want to take us back because this isn't the first time that this happened. Y'all remember when Kevin Hart fucked up? And everybody was against him. Y'all remember who he went to get his vilification card fixed? Ellen DeGeneres. He sat on Ellen DeGeneres' show, and a white lesbian, after weeks of him being drugged by the black community, told him, "I don't see that there's not a problem with this. You're good in our book." And the audience cheered, and sure enough, white Hollywood let him back in after that. But you didn't put that wasn't an affront to the white LGBT community. That was us. And you knew that. But you also knew that Hollywood wasn't going to forgive you unless you had a powerful white voice behind you. Hence Snoop Dogg modern day.
Honey, we already know how the game goes. White ice is colder, bitch. Y'all know white ice is colder, and y'all know that these Hollywood niggas is coons. Y'all know these motherfuckers is literally getting paid to tap dance for a motherfucking cracker. Honey, and y'all expecting them to be something other than a goddamn coon? You better stop playing.
I want to get back to the young person at the gym. Look, I agree with Monroe. I would love if we lived in a world where what you did in your transition doesn't affect me, but it does, because we're going to be the ones holding the bag at the end of the day. I'm not pushing passability. That's not what I'm pushing. I'm just pushing, just be serious about this. Just be serious.
And a question then, may I ask a question? So when you say be serious about this, right? And if we have already, or I mean me, I'm a I girl, and I have introduced to the chat that this person, yes, I agree that something like this can affect us. Absolutely, this is why we're here. I have also introduced to the chat that this person was at the gym, right? So this is your point, or what I hear you saying is like, put some effort into it, right? So like effort into the appearance.
When you make that step, like we've been saying, to go into a female only space, you know when it's time to go in there. You know when, like, we just got to be for real. And so y'all know I'm not, because I know everybody's gonna say, oh, she wants passability. I'm gonna take my wig off.
No. I see you lifting it up and down. You got a nice good head.
I'm gonna take my wig off.
You don't have to take your
Don't
wig
take
off.
the wig off.
Don't take it off.
Don't take
that wig off.
Don't take that wig off. Take
Quay
off
did not take that wig off.
Take off your
Quay,
wig.
keep that wig.
Take your wig off.
A man is in the chat. A man is in the chat. They need to remove them.
Please, take your dick off and lay it on the counter. Take off the dick. Take the dick off. And then if you take off the dick, then that's it.
Wait. Let me say this. I was in college and I was going to the women's bathroom. I intentionally waited for nobody to be in there because, like you said, I know the perfect time and I come from old school where I need to pass and da. But just because this lady knew that I was living in the boys' dorm, because that's what they put me in at Jackson State, she knew I was trans, not because I wasn't trying to look passable. I was, because I come from the old school. I went in the bathroom by myself. And because she seen me go in there, she called the police on me. And so the intent does not matter. It doesn't matter. I still feel I should have been respected because I'm a trans woman, and she feels that I should have been disrespected because she does not consider me a woman. And there's no way around that. It's not no amount of intent that is going to allow a transphobe to treat us well if they don't respect our identity. It's not going to happen.
I want us to also be able to check, like I mentioned earlier, be able to check your own experience, right? Just because you went through a journey where you had to get to a certain point in your transition to feel safe in the restroom or to feel safe in the women's restroom, that does not give you the right to do it to other people. Just because it happened to you doesn't mean it should happen to everybody else. And again, there are, like, a lot of this is just bullshit, because like Diamond mentioned earlier, as a boy, she went in the women's restroom, people didn't have a problem until she started to look like a girl.
Yeah.
Then people started to have a problem, and I experienced the same shit. I used to dress like the trade sometimes and would be in the women's restroom, and they would be kikiing and cacaing with me. But as soon as I started looking like a girl, they tried to have me banned from the women's restroom when I went to hair school, when I went to cosmetology school.
Like, I get that. And to like piggyback off of what Diamond was saying, like, in that time, were you presenting still? Because it's really given like this rhetoric that we're spewing online is announce that I'm trans at 8 o'clock, pop a moan at 12, and at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm in the women's bathroom.
This was, let me give you some time. So this was 2001 and I had transitioned in 94.
And I don't see, I think there's something happening now in this space where I think people are bullshitting. I think people are truly bullshitting. I don't think that they're valid. I don't think that they're really trans. I think that it's, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
You're
That's
saying
what I'm
in what space?
In this time, in this era, I feel like people,
in the world.
in the world.
And let me just name something, because even if they are passable or they present enough or they get enough effort to you. What Tish said was, I don't care how passable you are, I don't want a trans person in the bathroom at all. So even if they are good for you to consume, them in the bathroom, they good enough for your liking, that's not
Wait, she
everyone's
said that?
situation.
She said,
She
do we
yeah.
have footage of her saying that?
She put it in her her
Mo,
Instagram. She said,
Mo,
I
do
don't
we
care
got
how
footage?
what
We got footage,
I
Mo.
put it,
Run the
I put
footage.
it in my video, honey.
Mo, run the footage, Mo. Damn it, run it. You know,
yeah. So
Give Mo a
this was
chance.
a
He's
trans
trying to
women across the
heal
board.
now.
Oh, I get that jump scare.
Wasn't we just telling this cinder block to chill with the transphobia?
We've got to scream when we see men in the restroom of any form. If they're biological men, we've got to scream because we can't take the risk of being right or wrong.
You're transpassing. Was you looking at yourself in the camera when you recorded it? Weren't we just telling this cinder brick to chill with the transphobia? She ain't listening to shit we just said.
A fucking trans woman walked in while I was butt naked. I grabbed my towel. I fucking showed discomfort. And she looked at me and she said, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Actually, I'm not." There's been men coming in and out of the restroom and it's just been traumatizing. Is it okay if you just step out while I'm getting dressed? And she says to me, "I'm a woman." I said, "You're a woman?" So I say to him, "I'm sorry. If you're a woman, I apologize." And then he's like, nah, don't fucking talk to me. You lucky I don't see you outside of here. No, now he knows how to be a man, right? Now he knows how to be a man. Stay out of the women's locker room. I'm a woman and I have every right to not want a man in the restroom when I'm naked. There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay. Men, grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room. And that's why I'm getting kicked out. And I want to make sure the girls know. Women, when you see these men in the locker room, I don't give a fuck how they present. You scream, men.
It's crazy work to be queer and not want trans people to be comfortable in public. It's crazier work to be black and trying to segregate bathrooms. It is the craziest work to live in LA and not expect to share space with trans people. And they might have the same thing between their legs as you. Because trans men do exist. I think you just want to be the most butch person in the bathroom. In fact, I'm getting the impression that you want to do coochie checks in the locker room for your own personal gratification. It really seems like you're deflecting and reflecting your predatory feelings onto trans women. Out of all the straight women that go to that Gold's Gym, the one lesbian woman is the one who's kicked out because she only wants vagines in her locker room. That's sounding real sus. And that obsession with other people's anatomy really sounds like a trauma response. I think you should really talk to somebody about that. Seriously. And at the end of the day, if you see someone in the restroom who ain't bothering you or anyone else, mind your business. If you're uncomfortable with what somebody has between their legs in the bathroom, if you're concerned about how somebody looks in the bathroom, if you're more concerned about the plumbing in the other stall than doing what you came to do in the bathroom, then maybe public restrooms just aren't for you. What's crazy is I've been seeing a lot of trans people like, well, that ain't no trans woman. Where the trans woman at? Now, y'all know that's a man. And I just want to say to those trans people, you know there was a time when you were a hard-ass grandfather clock or a soft-ass stud. And yeah, I know you may not have been able to use the bathroom that you wanted. But that don't mean that you should deprive somebody else of it. Being unsafe in the bathroom is not a rite of passage that trans people should have to experience. Not to mention, she don't want y'all in the bathroom either. Again, if they ain't bothering you and they ain't bothering nobody else, mind your damn business, bitch. If you want to join this conversation, we are discussing Tish this week, this Thursday, on this episode of Marsha's Plate. Tune in. You know,
You been talking or whatever.
Who is that? Who is that?
This is Pookie from New Jack City.
What
Tish look
is
like
a soft ass stud?
No, I'm not doing it.
What is a soft ass stud? I want to know.
So on my way out, I just want to say thank you. This has been beautiful.
It wasn't nothing soft about her. That was a hard stud.
I thank you.
Okay, I have questions. I got questions because we're gonna be wrapping it up soon. Because I know the people going to get down there. They're gonna chop this up, clip this up, and discuss. I wanna quickly do like a lightning round of what is a transphobe? What is transphobic? What is it? Like, what is it? Let's break it down.
I would say a transphobe is someone who has a fear or an aversion to trans people. Someone who, doesn't want for us to be able to have human rights. Someone who advocates for us to be pushed to the furthest margins of society. That's who I consider to be a transphobe. People who have like a visceral reaction to us being even in their presence or in their vicinity.
And I would say not a clinical sort of like mental fear. I would say actually a hate, like an active legislative hate.
I was going to say, that's why I try not to use the word phobe. I try to use missia or missic. Transmissia or or a person who is transmissic is a person who has an unfounded disdain or hatred for. Right. And that goes for all of the things. And I use that because y'all know how they like to say, well, I'm not scared. Okay, cool. You want to play semantics? Fine. Missia means disdain or hatred for, which you definitely have. So I tend to not use that so that they can't even say that to begin with.
Okay.
My definition would be Jess Hilarious, Tasha K, people like that.
Okay, what if they say, well, I'm not a transphobe, I'm just pro-woman, and you're not a woman, you're not a female, you're a man. And the truth is that we all up here are men, and we are not women, we'll never be women, we blah blah blah, all of this shit. At what point? Because they don't see that as transphobia. They don't see that as they don't see it at all.
I'm not going to the Klan rally to fucking compromise and negotiate my fucking race with no fucking white person that's at the Klan rally. I am not talking to them or considering them just because they don't consider me equal or anything. I don't give a fuck about them. So I'm not going to the Klan rally to talk to them and negotiate with them, blah, 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 blah. And I feel the same way about cis women. If you can't give me the basic respect that I'm giving you, I'm not going to negotiate. Okay. I'm just engage, compromise, but I don't care about no bitch that don't consider me a woman. Fuck them. I'm only going to engage with the women that respect me and I respect them, and we're going to work on stuff together. I'm not going to sit in a space and compromise and bullshit with bitches like that. Fuck them. They can suck my asshole.
Okay.
Well, I think since we have the platform, I will speak to them, and I will say that you just need to read a book and understand the difference between gender and sex.
Correct.
And we are here, we exist, and let's just coexist.
Okay.
Well, y'all know my approach is a bit different. Y'all know I can be a bit aggressive. So I don't create safe space for transphobes. If you don't like me because of some shit that I said regarding trans people, you're very likely a transphobe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what about the people that are like, well, I'm not transphobic. You're a man. I'm not transphobic. You're not a real woman. I'm not transphobic. I'm just speaking the truth. Because we have so many people in the comment, especially on Instagram, We have them in the comments, and they're like, "Well, I love y'all," and I mean, it's just facts are facts, and y'all caping for a white man and putting down a black person, and da 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 da.
I think what I sit with is, let's say we're all men, fine. If we all were the men they said we were, all the things that we do, they would allow us to do. There are black men who make millions of dollars getting online talking terribly about black women every day, and you see black women in the comments saying, yes, I understand black fatigue. Yes, I understand why. There's a white man sitting on Pennsylvania Avenue making billions of dollars who feels like it's okay to make it seem like it's ghetto, terrible black women who are using these food stamps. And when you look in the comments section, it is black women saying, yes, I +1 this. I understand it. If we were all black men and we were engaging in sexual assault, you would be stepping in the name of love to our music. You would be getting married to our songs. You would be getting prepared to invite us for Thanksgiving because we were the uncle that you know engaged in a great deal of harm. We were the men that people said we were, we could get online and call women black women bitches. We could do all of these things and have a platform that we could be Cam Newton, we could be Joe Budden, we could be all of these people and engage in very nefarious behavior and be not only supported physically but compensated by Derek Jackson. I can name the spectrum, and so you asked that question earlier. I'm going to present you with facts. If you don't want to pick them up and you don't want to receive it, I'm not going to force you to take it. And I do think from the trans community, we're going to have to really all think about divesting from acceptance and even affirmation. Because I think the desire for acceptance and affirmation has given a lot of people the idea that we care what they think about us, right? That we need them to affirm us. And we're going to engage. If you don't like this, well, then we're going to come back. I recall after Madison, after you and Cherry had y'all first, when Cherry was on the first interview that y'all did together, and like at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, there's trans women coming up on the panel apologizing to women about things that trans women were saying, and I'm just like, there's nothing you all can say, including cutting your dick off, that's going to make these people validate you. And you don't need to disrespect them not to seek their validation, but kissing their asses is not going to make them see your life as valid. And so that's what I think is most important. So divest. Don't hurt people, but stop kissing ass.
One of the things that I live by is that, listen, if you think, don't ask me the question if you already have the answer. So if you're coming to me and you believe that you already have the answer to a question that is not your lived experience, then there is no conversation to be had, right? Like if someone is arguing with a fool, no one can tell who the fool is. So I'm not going to sit here and engage, to Dominique's point, I'm not engaging in an argument, a conversation, a debate, a teachable moment with someone who has already made up their mind about my lived experience. The end.
And I'm not justifying my humanity for nobody. At the end of the day, we both walk around this bitch. We put our pants on 2 legs at a time, all of that bullshit. And so I'll be damned if I sit here and I grovel at your feet and ask you to see me as a human being. Bitch, I'm a human being whether you like it or not. And we can either coexist in this bitch as mutual experience partners, or I can hate you and you can hate me and we can make each other's life miserable every chance we get. Which one you want to do?
All right. I have another question. This is my devil's advocate moment. Why don't we ever see trans men having the same I'm trying to word it the way,
because men don't feel inferior to trans men.
Because that's where the patriarchy they swear is at the bottom of us is living under these trans
living.
Second of all, the other reason that you don't hear them talking about it is because trans men give them an additional option of a man that they feel like will treat them better than a cis man. And so they will let that shit slide because we deal with trans men I don't know where these trans men exist that don't know how to express their needs, that won't call people in when they're not getting what their needs are met. This idea that we are the most difficult trans folks in the community is wild because all folks, I see you looking, Monroe. Listen, because she asked the fucking question.
I know trans men that do talk about it.
I know trans men who talk about it, and I know people who express their needs. I don't think that these people don't realize that most trans men are in relationships with biological Black women, with cis Black women, so they're still they are in spaces where they're not. Well, why aren't they fighting? Why aren't they being loud? Because there's really not a requirement for that, and most of
nobody gives a fuck.
No, y'all. We had the Gavin Grims of the world. Remember, he was one of the first people who had the bathroom issue in, was it North Carolina or somewhere, like in 2015, 16? Gavin Grimm. That trans men do. It's just they fuck with us. They don't really fuck with them.
I think that trans men can advocate in ways that feel more traditional, or they seem like trans men are taking the appropriate, like the route they think that's appropriate, i.e. a Chase Strangio, or even Gavin, like they think that those are
Lath.
Right? Those are the
Mm.
appropriate ways to challenge, and we are disruptive. We are difficult. We're having these conversations in non-traditional ways.
We're forced to be, though. We're forced to be, though.
Baby turfs too.
Ultimately, they don't give a fuck about trans men because we're the spectacle. The man in the dress is the spectacle.
And they are more likely to be attracted to trans men. Like all men, most times when you're attracted to them, you don't see any of the problematic issues because there's more of a connection there. And I feel like that's not discussed enough, where it's like, oh, trans men aren't asking for these things. Well, what trans men are you connected to? What conversations are you having with trans men, right? I know EC, I know Ricky, I know so many Black trans men who are advocates and who are having conversations, but I don't think it's received in the same way. And I feel like a part of it is that men are allowed to show up in ways that women aren't. And so it's like, if you are a woman and if you're a real woman, why are you being so angry? Why are you being so aggressive? That's because you're really a man at the end of the day.
And women are allowed to be more gender expression fluid. They're allowed to be masculine as Tish, masculine, and still claim to be woman and still be in spaces, whether you be super, super butch or super, super high film, you can be there. The male space, the man space is not as nuanced. It's actually cool to be, butchy woman and be in those kind of spaces. I see that all the time.
I love you, Trini.
I also see someone in the comments saying, well, they're not trying to push themselves in men's spaces.
They are.
They're there.
In there. They don't have to push. And that's the problem. The problem is that they don't have to push. There is no pushing.
Yeah.
They show up in their masculinity. They show up as the men that they are, and they're either welcomed in, or you do have traumatic experiences that happen, but then they find another space and they're welcomed into that space. The only people that get pushed out perpetually is us.
And if you ask that person, they can
that y'all ignore. Look at Mac Briggs trying to be a wrestler and all that kind of stuff here in Texas. This happened. Y'all just ignore it. It doesn't go viral as we do. Go ahead.
And if you ask that same person, they can't name you any trans men, but they can name you some trans women.
I love you, trainees. I have a performance at the theater. Thank you for having
Yes,
me.
darling. Go
right
ahead.
behind you. This was beautiful. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Listen, all right, Monroe. All right, Quay. All right, baby. Well, honey, it's down to the wire. We got about 7 minutes left. This is 7 minutes. All right. What is the difference between gender? Did Hope leave too?
Possibly.
What is the difference between? No, she's back. What is the difference between gender and sex?
Sex is who you go to bed as. Gender is who you go to bed as. And then your sex is the way that you were categorized at birth. How you express yourself and how you were born and categorized medically. That is the difference. Gender is also a social construct created by people. It is ever evolving and ever changing based on the social and society standards at the time. Sex is not moving. If you were born male, that is what it will be forever and always until the scientists figure out a way to play God, which eventually they will. But until that day, sex is immovable. Gender is ever changing based on societal notions and standards.
And even that is nuanced. Even sex is nuanced as gender.
Touche.
And also, I think that most people are very lazy, and we have to talk about presentation and expression is a different category that has nothing to do with your gender identity, your sex assigned at birth, and it has nothing to do with your sexual orientation. And everybody wants these things to be a stack of Legos that is perfect. And because we want everything to fit in, it's okay, if you are you are identified as, even if you are identified as male at birth, but you identify as a trans woman, but you dress more masculinely, and you are identified as a lesbian, people's minds will explode, right? Because it doesn't feel congruent. They'll allow for a trans. They might give the girls one pivot, but everything else needs to line up for them to want to affirm it. And so, because we are terrible at comprehensive sex education in our communities, we also have a lot of queer people who uplift this same belief. And that's why the Butch Queens be in the comments uplifting this bullshit. That's why some of these lesbians have the feelings that they have, because it's like 1 + 1 needs to equal 2. And the truth of the matter is, as long as we're talking about humans, the math will never be exactly the same.
That part.
I identify as a woman, but I don't identify as a female.
That was my next question.
Agreed.
That's my next question. What is the difference between a female and a woman to us?
I mean, ultimately, sex, just to expand on what everybody else has said, sex is what was between your legs when you were born. It's based on what was between your legs when you were born. Gender is who you show up as. Who are you in the world? How do you represent yourself?
Well, and also the sex is a biological component, right? So even if you undergo SRS, like, it's the idea that there's this perception that we as trans women don't realize what our bodies are capable of and what our bodies are not capable of, because there's always the need to announce who can give birth and all these other things. And folks are very aware of what's happening with their bodies. And y'all only talk about the capacity of a body when it's trans folks. And if we talked about it for everyone, we will be able to knock down a lot of these walls and misconceptions.
And y'all talk about biology like y'all don't have an 8th grade level of biology.
No shame.
Everything isn't just X, Y, and XX. There are gender things happening in our body on a chemical level. There's a gender thing happening in our body on a structural level, and not just genitalia. Your brain has gender structures too.
Y'all niggas fuck y'all in the ass with Vaseline. Y'all don't know.
There is multiple ways that gender variance can express itself on a biological sex level. It's not just the expression and the gender of it all. The sex level has nuances too. And so accept that and deep dive into that. Don't just think it's just XX and XY. It's way more than that.
There's a bunch of variations to sex specifically. It's definitely a spectrum. There's people who are born with a certain genitalia. They hit puberty and realize that they were actually biologically female or biologically male. So yeah, it's definitely a spectrum for sure when it comes to sex. Now, when it comes to gender, I definitely think that it comes from how you present and how you show up in the world. That's what I think.
And then I also would say, in trying to dissect someone else's womanhood when you're still struggling and coping with yours really doesn't help.
That part.
Yeah.
Okay. What is sexual orientation and describe sexual orientation for me?
Who you go to bed with?
Who you want to fuck? Who
Who
makes
you
your
go to
balls
bed with?
score? Who make that dick hard? Who make that
Right.
pussy fat?
Which is not inherently connected to who you are romantically attracted to.
At all.
Yeah, so that's what I want to know, the difference between sexual orientation and attraction.
Because a lot of men love to fuck women. They don't like
women.
Mm-hmm. And I'm saying
they like vagina, but not women.
Right. And I think it applies to
heterosexual, homo-romantic.
Yeah. Fuck trans women, but they have no like of our humanity, of our wholeness. Like, you see that a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I think people discount that to just pansexuality, which I think does a disservice to people who identify as pansexual, right? So it's like who you will hunch on, but who would you love? Who would you give your heart to? Who would you build with? And a lot of people, I think if a lot of men took the time to have that conversation, we would have some real revolution taking place. But what's
the problem with us pansexuals, Dominique? What's the problem?
I said when people think that is pansexuality, it does a disservice to pansexual people. Where, from my understanding, it is about who you're attracted to, and it's individualizing these things. And people think pansexuality is you'll hunch on anything, and that is not, in my experience, the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I do believe that all Leos are pansexual because they just love being worshipped and all things.
Oh Lord. Oh God.
Listen,
First of all,
no
bitch, what you
Leo,
gonna do?
no
What you
Leo
gonna not do
slander.
up
Oh
here?
God.
Do you
There
want
she
to
goes
fight,
with this
Dominique? Do
bullshit.
you want to fight?
Girl,
And I will say, in my experience, there are a lot of straight men who don't like women, but have this like or attraction to, and want to impress men while being straight, which is a little bit different. I won't say weird, but it happens.
Heterosexual, homo-romantic.
Yeah.
These
Okay.
niggas are they're dating their friends without the title for years.
Right. Okay.
I have to bring up before we leave this topic. I have to bring up the fact that some will argue that a person can change their sex. That's why transsexualism operations was originally the name for SRS.
Okay. Okay.
Some people will argue that sex is based on genitalia.
So is a man still straight if he sleeps with a woman pre-op and post-op?
In 2 minutes,
individual.
Madison. In 2
We
minutes,
not finna do this, bitch. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you.
It's individual.
For the last 2 minutes.
It's individual.
What
What did we say? People get the right to identify as they want to identify.
I'm just being devil's advocate here.
People get the right to identify as they want to identify.
Right, whatever he say he is, Chef.
That's what he is.
I don't want no straight niggas. I saved them all for y'all. Y'all can have them. Run through them.
Whatever lets the girls sleep at night. I think that I will say this. I think that the more that you allow yourself to disconnect from what the person you sleep with gender reflects the validity of your gender, the more peace you will have. Because I don't think a lot of people really know what's going on internally. But a lot of girls really want them all to be deemed as straight because that means that man is affirming their woman gender, which is a trick bag because these niggas, these
anything with a hole in it.
If you're expecting for the concepts and the things that we are talking about to be simple as 1, 2, 3, bitch, grow the fuck up. There's some complicated, nuanced things that we are talking about on this whole live that we're not going to agree with. It's going to be some big concepts, and so you got to deep dive and read and learn and grow and get bigger. It's not going to be easy. So don't think. I know this is a lot to unpack, but it's going to be hard for you to learn new things and new concepts. That's what education is.
I've gotten a lot of pushback for my opinion on this topic. I make the distinction between terms like gay, lesbian, and like homosexual and engaging in homosexual activity. So I think that like how we present matters. We don't greet people with our genitalia. So if someone sees me and my husband out and about, they just automatically assume that we are a cis heterosexual couple. But in reality, we are both male, and so technically that is a homosexual relationship. But like I said, we don't interact with our genitalia out in public. So it's like, what takes precedent? Is it my interaction in public or my genitalia and my sex that only me and my family and my closest partners are aware of?
Which leads me to the next question. It's going to be very messy, but I'm going to ask because I'm the devil's advocate. I've been hit with these things. If girls who top are girls that top real trans women, or are they? These be the questions.
They're guys soldiers, bitch, especially if they on estrogen. That's what they are, bitch.
Girls who top are the realest trans women, honey. We are living in our transness. We are slaying you in our transness, honey. And if you get lucky, you can get filled with our transness, honey.
Listen, how I center my pleasure has nothing to do with my gender identity.
Baby, for me to have all this big black dick and think I'm not going to use it, you's a fool.
And I will also say there are some trans girls who are post-op who then turn around and strap on and become tops
That's
too.
what I'm not about to do.
Most of my sisters who I know personally, they bought straps after they got their bottom surgery.
Like some cis women.
So are you a real trans woman if you have a SRS? Does SRS make you a real trans woman, or are you a trans woman if you're post-op and pre-op?
See,
Are you a trans woman? You say you are a trans woman.
Realness in body, because there's a lot of unattractive girls with pussies.
Yes.
You see these arbitrary lines?
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we deciding is realness? Is it having the part? Is it looking the part? Like, I think those things, because once it became readily available, right? They were giving girls vaginas and then sending them to the shelter to heal.
I would argue, devil's advocate, as my sister Madison would say, devil's advocate. I would argue that trans people who don't get bottom surgery are more comfortable in their transness. They found ways to alleviate their dysphoria.
Because I'm very comfortable in my skin. I'm cozy with who I am.
My God.
Can you say more though, Bree?
I don't think we have time to say more, Hope, but I would love to have this conversation with you anytime. I think we would be the perfect people to have it.
No, because listen, the reason why I devil's advocate that, because I get under heavy scrutiny a lot when they say, which piggybacks off of the conversation of, well, a man can't be straight or can't be attracted to you, still have a dick. And I say, well, what about if the man is attracted to me and he's not attracted to my penis? Right. Well, he can't be this or you can't be blah 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 unless you have a vagina. And it's just like, well,
it's queer sex.
I was gonna say, but my thing is, sex is not, to what Diamond just got through saying, none of this shit is simple thoughts. It's all nuanced, because we as human beings are not simple beings. And so whatever floats your boat in the bedroom is y'all's business. Whatever happens between two consenting adults should not be the business of any. I don't understand why it's become the gag and the get you gotcha for people to be like, oh, you gay, or you fucking a trans girl, or you're a lesbian, and like, I don't.
You want to know why? It's the same thing I say about when I was incarcerated. I thought putting people in prison was the best way to make people better, and I share that because I believe the amount of freedom that we exist in activates people who have been oppressed, who have decided that oppression is the only way to exist. And how dare we not conform? Even within these conversations of, okay, if you want to be trans, well, you better not want anybody to touch your dick. You better not do these things. You better have some sort of checks and balances and process, because I was told these are checks and balances and process. And most of these women have never had an orgasm. They've given birth to children and not had an orgasm. Most of these men have busted a nut, but never made love with anybody. And it's all due to them going by the process. And I think our decision to know that processes are bullshit activates people in a deep way. And so that's what I think it is. It's a conform, so I don't feel like and I don't realize how much I'm being oppressed. And that makes me feel safer.
Period.
And I just want to
go ahead, Jerome.
I just want to say, because I'm the non-binary person on the panel, non-binary is trans. There's no look to it. They can present as mass or as femme or as in between as they want to, because that's their fucking business. And no person, not even trans people, get to tell a person who's non-binary how they should present. Thank you.
When you called that lady the trans J.K.
Rowling, I'm gonna be a little messy too.
Oh, here it go. I was waiting on the lightning round. Here comes the lightning round.
Jerome, be careful. Listen. So
be careful.
I respect that. I don't gotta be careful. I'm ready for anything.
But be careful.
So do you acknowledge your privilege as somebody who won't go through what Miss Alexis is going through in any space, because you are being read as a cisgender Black man? Do you acknowledge your privilege as that?
Yeah, yes, I absolutely acknowledge that. I acknowledge that when, Angelica and her friend, co-host, sister, whatever, was calling out non-binary people as well. Yeah, I acknowledge my privilege, but with that, there's been this constant conversation of trans women, mainly trans women, who are saying if you're non-binary, you're not trans. And if you present as male or masculine, you should just be a man, or you should just be a woman. If you present as, so it's like, those were the conversations where it's like, we not about to play those games. So yeah, I acknowledge my privilege, and I use my privilege every day in that.
That's the only thing that I ask non-binary people to acknowledge that privilege, that they're not going through the same things that we are, and because they're being read differently. It's the same thing, me acknowledging some of other people who may be more passable than others. There is going to be certain things. I don't go through what I go to the gym every day. I don't go through what Miss Thing went through. So there's a privilege in that. And I think a problem with the non-binary folks that I see a lot of times is that they don't acknowledge that privilege and try to be in spaces kind of on the bandwagon, trying to act like they go through the same shit that we go through.
Yeah, but I think there's also too is a defense mechanism where they feel like they always have to defend their existence. Like it's constant.
All right. And my last question before we get out of here, and it's gonna really shake the table. Do we have a necessary duty to out men?
Yes, I do. I can't speak for y'all. But yes, I do. I can't speak for y'all.
I was gonna say duty is what's throwing me. Duty is what's throwing me.
Duty for me because and I'm speaking hypothetically. Of course, Fess is watching. I'm speaking hypothetically. You could have. People could be extorted, blackmailed.
I think when it comes to safety, that's the only reason. When it comes to safety, that's it. That's what I think.
I will say I don't give a fuck about their feelings. Like I don't care about you being exposed. I don't care about exposing you if I'm the person that has to do it, because at the end of the day, you don't get to dip one toe in, dip the other toe out, and while all this oppression is happening to me, you get to go back to your girlfriend and fuck on the couch. We're not doing that. And I think that now, what I will say, I think the nuance for me around it is if you are doing it for legitimate reasons, which I think we've all seen legitimate reasons. You run out on my check, I'm snitching. You beat me, I'm snitching. You do me dirty after years and years and years and all of the things that might have been partially my fault, but I'm snitching because you play with my emotions, right? I think that just snitching on somebody because you walked in on something and it wasn't your business and you just found it out, that might be a little slippery slope. But at the end of the day, I still don't care about them because they don't care about us. I see it on Twitter all the time. There are literally threads and threads of DL men talking shit about trans women and the gay men that they're fucking. But you are accessing a community for your pleasure and your happiness outside of that life that you're faking enjoyment with. And so when you get outed, I don't care that you now have to experience that same hatred that you were spewing when you thought that it was safe to do so. Fuck you, your feelings, your mama, your job, your career, and everything else that come with it, because you also understood what the ramifications would be if people found out. And now you're reaping the benefits. Sorry, not sorry.
And that is a part with that I struggle with, that I kind of will disagree with, right? When it comes to prostitution and sex work and stuff like that, they run on your money or whatever the case is. Because when you engage in risky behavior, sometimes risky things can happen, right? And so if you're outing people, that is harmful, that is violent. And so for me, what I've seen online is that where people, and I kind of agree. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to perpetuate violence, but just like you're being violent by outing them, if they're in return are violent by harming you, then that's the cards y'all are dealt, because y'all are engaging in risky actions.
I mean, I don't agree with. I don't disagree with that. I think that both parties know what they're getting into when you engage in the act.
Context. I think I would lift it up to the context of that a question could be asked to everyone. I think there's the DL conversation, but most people assume that a DL man is cheating. Does everyone, whether you are trans or whoever, do you all tell people when you know that people are cheating on other people? And in the overall society, I don't see that take place until, whether you are biological, whatever, people don't usually tell anybody until they've been wronged. On average, people let things happen. Mistresses, like whole families have been built, like all the things. Additionally, I'm not comfortable. I think it's odd for me to be your CIA agent, but that's the only role that you'll be excited for me to be in, right? Oh, I'm good enough to report to you these things and do all these other things and what have you, but my basic humanity isn't something that you censor and you see. So I think I wish we would focus more on actions, people who are lying, people who are being deceitful, people who are cheating. That's a conversation to be had. And when we look at society overall, most people, the answer is I mind my own business. I don't get into people's mess, this, that, and the third. So at 43, I try to avoid situations that put me there. And also I have told several women, and the girls never leave.
They don't. They don't.
On Facebook, his drawers is shitty, this, that, and the third, and you mad and you going through it, and then next week you're washing the drawers by hand. And I gotta move because this nigga done came to my house and shot my house up. And so there's layers to it, but most people let cheating happen in society. Why are we the agents of the Agatha Christie of cheating for the people out here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because they say that we protect DL men. They say that we don't have men that will love us out in public. They say that there's no man that really wants to. They have these preconceived notions that we don't have the capability of being loved out loud. Actually, there are lots of us that have the capability of being loved out loud. However, we also understand that sometimes we're very meticulous about the things that we date. And I'm on the down low.
Okay.
Bitch, I don't want you knowing who I'm rolling around with, bitch. I may not want you knowing that because I may not want you in his inbox. I may not want you over there trying to fuck on him because
the Mario
bitches be they talk out of both sides of their mouth, but they be trying to ride those dicks. Don't you ever get it twisted.
No shade.
They don't.
They try to ride those dicks for sure.
Or get that corn, if they see that you got somebody with a piece of corn. Honey, yes, no. But that exact thought is why I go back and forth in my head about being public with my love, and ultimately it always comes back to I ain't doing it no more. I did it for y'all hoes one time before. Y'all can see that it's possible, honey, for me at least. Honey, if a lot of you girls get your mental health together, it'd be possible for y'all to.
That part.
And I don't gotta do representation.
And
it's
I'm
not all
not
this cracked up to be.
centering-
People
Yeah.
say that they want. Oh, I'm sorry, Diamond. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm not centering the protection of men at all levels of our community. They don't give a fuck about the harm that they do to us. So I am not centering DL men and the protection of them in my concerns at all. If they're outed, they outed. I don't really care. I don't care. That's not a conversation that I will want to engage with because they don't engage with protecting us. That we have the highest rates of domestic violence, cisgender and trans. We have the highest rate of so many harms that come from them. And you want me to spend my time? And they don't do we don't see no domestic violence organizations stepping up that's led by men. They don't do none of that work. And you want me to do the work to consider some down low dude? They don't even want to vote for us. Vote in our favor. No,
they don't want to vote for their motherfucking self. The type of dude in my experience,
I'm not centering my care.
In my experience, the type of dudes who I've come across who have been DL have also been the type of niggas that won't vote. No shade.
Won't vote, don't know what's on the docket, have no idea, get all of their fucking news from TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit. But these are the same people that want to sit back with their family and pretend like they know every motherfucking thing because somebody else got a degree and they've told them exactly what's going on. And that doesn't fly for me anymore. And I think that even as it pertains to the relationship portion, and Madison, you saying that you were DL, I think that in certain instances, that's important because people will say that they want the possibility model, but if it doesn't come wrapped in the package that they need it in, then it's also fuck that too. People want the fairy tale, but they want the fairy tale from the girl that they want it from. They don't want the fairy tale from every girl. Every girl can't make it out. You see that, and I think that that's the thing that people are also not saying. People like the idea of there being a 1 or a 2 because then we get to keep the rest of y'all miserable and scrapping for the possibility and the hope for that, which keeps these men in business. Because if I'm desperate and I have a couple of nights out of the month where I'm like, fuck it, then these motherfuckers still get to come in and be over here. And quiet as it's kept, some of the girls enjoy life like that. And rather than saying it, they make it about what you can't get and what you don't have access to. We have access to it. I don't think everybody wants it, but everybody feels like they have to pretend to in order to look like they want the dream. And that's not everybody's dream.
And my final question before we get out of here, because I know that they're going to be people going to cut this up and they're going to really be having think pieces.
And I'm going to be on here high as a giraffe pussy.
Ladies, individually, are you mad at real women? Are you mad at black women? Are you angry?
Hell no, I ain't mad at myself. I'm a real woman.
At all. At all.
No, I'm not mad at black women, but I am disappointed at transphobia in the black community overall. Period. Full stop. I think black women tend to be more vocal online about it. And I think that's one of the reasons is because a lot of black men who are transphobic don't want to be seen as thinking about us that often or that much, or even being linked and tied to us. I'm disappointed with Black people, period, being bigots. Like, come on now, we've been here before. We've seen the people before us go through it, and we see us going through it every day today. Like, every time the police stop you niggas, y'all scared. Why would you do that to somebody else? Why would you pump that fear in somebody else?
My life has been saved too many times by cisgender Black women. They have supported me. They are usually my mama, and some of my friends in school was my first allies who've defended me, who bucked up against bullies. It's just I have too many cisgender women that fuck with me, that is down with me, that I don't have to have any questions in regard to how they see me, to make one little small group make me shit on them. That's not how I get down. My actions and who I am, I fuck with them, and the people who know me know I fuck with them. So ain't no hate at all.
Yeah.
And I think that you gave them grace that we don't typically, we're not typically allotted, right? Like, you can separate the bad apples and understand that there are cis women who are for trans people. A lot of the time when it comes to trans people, we do one thing bad, one bad apple, it's the entire trans community. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. I have beautiful, loving cis women in my life. I'm the oldest of 6 younger sisters, child. So that was a journey growing up. But yeah, there's no issue between cis women. We live, we learn, we maneuver through society in similar spaces, and that's just how it goes.
Hope?
Yeah, I mean, same. Some of the best people in my life, some of the most consistent people in my life are Black cisgender women. And I think that I echo everybody else's sentiments. I know better than to believe that the entire community is against me. Howsoever, I think that it goes without saying that some of y'all are trying to escape the accountability for the part that you play in the deaths, the mutilation, and the isolation of trans women within the Black community. And until y'all grasp, accept, and work on fixing that in your own spaces, we're always going to be at this impasse when you're not around, because y'all are not doing your due diligence to call other people in and get them to a space where we can all sit down and have conversations where we can coexist. We ain't gotta like each other. Y'all don't like each other, most of you, but coexisting is something that you've managed to do. So let's manage to do that with us as well.
Okay. Dominique?
Listen, I have, even over the last year, when I have had the opportunities to be supported in some of the most trying times, it's been cis Black women. Love my trans sisters, but them bitches will leave you in the desert without a lick of water, bitch.
I won't, bitch. Shut the fuck up. You know I got your back.
Y'all know where the shoe fit, bitch. But I'm just keeping it real with you, right? And I think that what is important is that I feel like most people are framing the dislike to be centered around men. That's the saddest part.
Yeah.
That the action of being mean, the action of showing hate, the action of why we would have any disdain is behind these niggas. And I want y'all to know, from the deepest part of our souls, these niggas are terrible. The worst affliction I have is being attracted to motherfuckers that have dick on them. I promise you, if I could divest fully, my God, on today, I would, because it's a journey and we know what comes with it. So not only do I have deep love and admiration, I wish we would unpack the idea that y'all know them niggas ain't shit, we know them niggas ain't shit, and we're just trying to figure it out. And if we figured it out together,
but Dominique, we not fucking the same niggas.
We are.
Yes, we are.
We are.
Yes, we are.
If we're not fucking the same niggas, why do y'all want us to be the deal?
Them niggas fuck y'all trans.
And if y'all wasn't fucking the same niggas, then why are they exposing?
I just want to offer math.
Them niggas fuck y'all trannies.
Who are they exposing then?
If your niggas don't fuck us, if your niggas don't fuck us,
listen,
if your niggas don't fuck us, why do you want us to tell us what niggas we're fucking?
No. Them niggas fuck trannies. Them niggas, there ain't no gay nigga fucking them.
He knows how to suck your clit finally because he learned how to suck dick. Just acknowledge it and receive it, sister.
All
if you know anything,
ain't no man that want you. Don't you even do that.
Those girls chewed me up about that video with you and Nene, and I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. If y'all don't think that these niggas know the aesthetic that they are interested in, and there was not a concerted effort to shift the broader community to acquiring that aesthetic so they could marry that aesthetic and not just have her down the street when he wanted it, you a damn fool. As someone who with trans girls every day, there are many women who are born with a vagina that if I would see them there, I'd be like, oh, that's one of my sisters.
Okay.
And not because she's unattractive, because of how she shows up and presents.
Oh, that's the narrative that they tried to create now. That
Girls
trans women are unattractive. Honey,
the girls search for blood.
Baby, it's that shade. It's usually a compliment when somebody thinks that you're a tranny, especially if you're a rich bitch. Honey, all the girls on Zeus look like trannies.
Oh,
my God.
So I would just say that I'm not mad at anyone. I'm a little irritated and tired at the Black community as a whole. That is cis, trans, gay, non-binary, who do the jobs of white supremacists and who are dividing the community and who thinks that denying my existence or anyone else's existence make their existence more full. That's who I'm tired and angry at. Well, tired and exhausted, irritated at.
And get on some prep. If y'all so worried about DL niggas, use the resources available to you. Gird your loins, sister. Get you a piece.
Honey, and then they wonder why they dropping like flies like the girls in the 80s.
Girl, listen, that's another panel for another day.
Right.
Ladies, I'd like to say thank you all very much for doing this. I do honestly feel that we should do this at least once a week or once a month. I think that we should gather. I think that we should look at the things that are going on when it centers around. And I think the next time we'll add maybe 2 trans men. But this was important that we talk to trans women and non-binary because this all fit that spectrum of the situation. I felt like it was important. I do thank the people that showed up in the comment section. We thank the naysayers. We thank the haters. We thank the folks. But what we want you to do is take conversation from this, learn something from this. We were all rooting for you. I think the next time we do it, I think we get a call-in number. We let the people call in, voice what they say, cut them off. I'm probably gonna get a number or whatever and let them do that. Bitch, I just got to get the police. But I think that we should do this, and I think we should do this more and more. And really, when we have something going on in the community, that we hold a town hall meeting, because we don't all agree on the things. Hell, all us wasn't getting along, but we all right now. Shit, when we leave this bitch, somebody may windmill somebody tomorrow. I don't know.
Well,
I don't fucking know. But what we just displayed here was we all collectively came together. We were able to agree, disagree. Some thought that we were a trans medicalist. Jerome, I thought Jerome's going to come here and break the table in half. I actually agree with a lot of things that Jerome said. Diamond, I know you keep that shotgun over there, bitch, in the window. Fairy Puss don't give a fuck. Hope they got you. They say you the angriest bitch ever.
Girl,
it is smart as fuck, and I be watching. I share everything you post. Dominique, you my sister. They thought that was gonna be biased. Monroe came in. She got the biggest pussy of them all. Hope got a kitty pussy. Monroe got the biggest pussy. Goddamn Quay got the biggest dick. Wait a minute.
That might be you.
That might be you. Hold on.
All right.
I just want to say thank you all for this. Thank you for getting up at the drop of a dime. We did this at the drop of a dime. And I want to say thank you. I love you all. I want y'all to stay in the back. I'm going to close this out. We're going to come back. We're going to discuss a couple things about how we need to do this, like how we need to do this. I want you all to make sure that your cash is up. If all of the ladies up here, am I saying it right, Jerome? Can I say ladies to you too?
Anything. I'm fine with anything.
If all of the ladies up here made your day, bless them. They got their cash apps up. Send them $21. 21. What Juanita Bottom say, honey? 21. It's 21 of you old niggas out there got $1,000. Listen, it's 1,000 of you niggas out there got $21. Y'all send the people $21. Get 21. 21, $2.10, 5. Do whatever it is you do. Show them some love for coming up here and talking and chopping it up with you all. And next time we come, that's why I want to talk to everybody afterwards, you know, just to see if we have a town hall, and then you guys will be able to put your questions in. We talk, we chop it up, we open the phone lines. We'll make this something that we do for the community, because I do feel like the community, this is something that we're lacking in the community. Us really all coming together, different shades of different colors, different motherfucking ages, different viewpoints, different ideas, that we're able to really sit down and have a fun, interactive conversation, kikiing, and disagreeing and agreeing. So I love you all. Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to discuss when we're going to announce when we're going to see this, when we're going to do this some motherfucking again. It was great. Mo, take my peoples down. Take them down. Don't go nowhere, Dato. Y'all don't leave nowhere. We going to y'all tell everybody bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all. All right, Mo, take them down. Y'all wait in the back room back there. We're going to come back up. Take them down, Mo. You met me as me.
We wanted them to check for VD.
For VD. Now we are coming back to Chicago in November. Chicago, Illinois. Child, we done mended our situation with the city winery, honey, and they done called their good sisters back. That's right, honey. The Fags are coming back November the 24th, 2025.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving week. You think I can get somebody in Chicago to bring me a little vegan something?
What's up, Chicago? That's right, the Fags are coming back. That's Monday, November 24th. That's Thanksgiving week. You know you ain't going to work no way. Come on out and chill with the Fags. Get your tickets, www.fagtalk.com.
That's November the 24th, 2025. Get your tickets. Don't meet us there, Chicago. Meet us there.
I sure hope somebody's going to bring.
We wanted them to check for VD.
For VD. And for you ain't going, it's my fault. Take your ass down into that welfare. Use a dummy, bitch.
Calling all pin mob. Honey, the Fags are going international. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. August 5th through the 9th, 2026, Fag Talk Live in Antigua will be going down, baby. Get your tickets at www.fagtalkinternational.com. I need y'all to know, honey, that this is one of those trips that you don't want to miss. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going on an all-inclusive resort and spa situation, bitch, at the Royalton, honey, down there in Antigua.
I'm not too sure where Antigua is, but the Pin Mob, we're going to Antigua. Make sure you have your passport, make sure it's up to date, and be sure to get the travel insurance just in case something happens, because life happens. The spots are moving quickly. Do not wait until the last minute. You have an entire year to pay this trip off, so do yourself a favor. Treat yourself to a good time and meet us in Antigua for Fag Talk Live.
And for my rich bitches, add on the rich bitch option to include a full day with us as we tour the island, and who knows what else we gonna get into. God damn it, don't meet me down there to the ticket place. Beat me at the ticket place. That's right, girls. Honey, meet us down there to www.fagtalkinternational.com, honey. Low deposit and payment plans are available.